like for you just now?
Would both of you please move your heads about in a wayward fashion?
Hello.
Looking actually all right. Looking all right.
Right. Okay.
Cool. We'll commit to this. Right, shall we go and do the intro video?
Let's do it.
Do it, bitches. Do it, bitches.
It's still saying waiting for FS UK, by the way.
Yeah, don't worry.
No, on YouTube, it's still saying waiting for FS UK.
I know. I've just hit go live now, so. Soundies. Panic over. I didn't screw up, you did. Ah! Sorry. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
A very good evening, and for the penultimate time this season, welcome to the Formula Student Sim Racing Series. I'm Giles Cosgrove, and joining me in our virtual commentary box, as ever, are Jess Ball and James Monty Montgomery, and we have got an absolutely monumental set of races coming at you this evening, because, as ever, we've got something a little bit different for you for the penultimate round. This is the last round that we'll be doing on the internet. Next time out, we'll be live at Williams Esports, but for the final time this season, we're doing something a bit special and a bit different. I tell you what we're doing. We're going around Sepang twice for 2 full 1-hour endurance races, and there it is on your screens there. Here is what we've got coming at you over the course of this evening. We're going to kick off with our very first race in just under 15 minutes. We'll have a full hour racing, and then we'll do the FS news at 7:30 before our second race at 8 o'clock. The opening grid, the lineup, the start grid of the second race will be determined by the results in the first race. So make sure you're watching throughout this evening. So far, we've been to a number of different courses around the world, virtually, of course. We've been to the Schagenschen Ring. I need to get better at my German or other languages. We know that geography is not my strong suit. We've established this. Ver North. We've also been to Goodwood. Last time out was in Spa. We've also been to Interlagos.
It wasn't Spa. It was
It was Assen. Okay, so apologies. We were originally supposed to go to Spa, but we ended up going to TT Assen in the end instead. So there was a
that was good. That was good.
It was a good race, though, wasn't it, Jess?
This is what I was going to say. I wasn't here last time out, so as much as I'm sure that those at home watching could do with a refresher, I could do with a refresher as well. So if you could refresh me, please, Jess, that would be very helpful. What happened?
I think the best person to speak about that is Monty, because quite a few things have changed since we were here at Assen last time out. Monty, how did the results change?
Geez, yeah, you missed a good one, Giles. We had a lot of good racing. As I say, we had a last-minute change of circuits, so we went from Spa to TT Assen, which we haven't been to since the first season. So the first time back there in 5 years, that was back in the Dan Jones era of commentating when we were last there, you know. So a lot has changed since then. And for the first time ever, we had a tie for the win. Queen Mary University and University of Surrey both took a win, both took a second, and both won their extra bonus points in their respective races. So they left last time out as joint winners on 112 points each. Delft continuing their upturn of form, finishing in third on 93 points. But look at how close that was from 4th to 12th. Just 16 points in it. It was after the first two broke away, everything else beneath it was absolutely topsy-turvy racing, wasn't it, Jess?
Yeah, it was, and quite a bit of chaos in some instances. But I have to say, fair play to Surrey, because I do remember in the race before we went to Assen, we were contemplating in the FS news on why they couldn't make the round, but that was because they couldn't make it back home in time to them doing a. But yeah, I'm not going to talk that much.
I'll let you into a little secret there, Jess. They may have tried to get 2 brand new drivers in the last hour because the drivers that were scheduled to drive in this race dropped out. Hey, look, at least they're consistent in their inconsistency.
That is true. That is true. But did they qualify, though? That's the more important bit. Did they pre-qualify?
Well, that's the thing. They have pre-qualified. The problem is only 2 of their drivers have pre-qualified. and so they're trying to
Oh.
replace them with 2 other drivers. So there
But
is a
they
bit of a
can't do
discussion
that.
going on. Exactly. So there's a discussion going on with the organisers and with Surrey as we speak right now. So we'll be finding out in 12 minutes' time whether Surrey are on the grid or not.
See?
Watch the space, guys. But, rules are there for a reason. And irrespective of if the toilet is locked unexpectedly or because other appointments have appeared, there is a reason why we allow each university to have up to 6 drivers to represent their team in the series. So if your main 2 can't appear, then the other 4 can still represent them. But the expectation is if you want to race, then that driver does need to pre-qualify. So I feel like this is going to be a bit of a difficult conversation for the organisers to manage with Surrey as we speak. But as I say, I haven't got all the information to hand. My understanding is that only 2 of their drivers are eligible to race tonight, and so only those 2 drivers we are expecting to see on the grid. Anyone else? I think we'll be having to wait until July now until we can see Surrey on the grid. But as I say, we'll find out in 11 minutes' time whether they are there or not.
I'd just like to say to
Go on.
anybody from ITV watching, and Anton Deck particularly, this is how you handle difficult conversations on a live broadcast.
And if you didn't watch I'm a Celeb last night, you're probably thinking, what on earth are we talking about? But we're not going to say too much more.
Yeah, we'll leave that exactly where it is. If you haven't seen it, don't worry. And if you have, you know what I'm on about. Anyway,
Yes,
the engineering challenges, Monty, should we discuss those?
Yes, I think that's a great idea. So the other thing you missed out as well last time, Giles. So we had the third of our engineering challenge results be published. Glasgow won it, so they were back at the top. Southampton was second, with Queen's Belfast third. Exeter, another great showing from them, in fourth, and University of York in fifth. We have got round four's results to be published tonight. But before we do that, let's just look at what the engineering challenge standings look like after 3 rounds. It is close. Exeter leading it by a single point from Glasgow, with Queen's University Belfast just a couple of points behind in third. It is outrageously close at the top. And as a kind reminder for anyone new to the sports, so the engineering challenge is our unique... Yeah, let's call it. It's our unique selling point in the series. The students are not only here to race and work on their tactics, but in between the races, we're giving them engineering challenges. They need to go and interpret the data that we're supplying them with in this virtual world to understand what it's doing. And then we're getting real-world professional engineers to judge their reports. They've got to be able to tell us what the data is saying, translate it into something which they can offer a solution to. So we're looking for their rationale, justification, what type of engineering methodologies are they using, and of course their communication skill. The whole purpose of this is to provide them with an opportunity to put theory into practice and give them a good head start before they go into industry, or perhaps even apply this logic into the main Formula student team itself and gain a competitive advantage that way. The competition is that serious that the winner of these challenges, we will award them the same amount of points as a race victory. And you can't use this towards the drop scores. So if you want to win this championship, you've got to be doing these 5 engineering challenges as well, because 5 times 60 is 300. That's potentially 300 points you can't not afford to get, as Southampton found out last year, because they had a disqualification in one of their engineering challenges that lost them 45 points.
It lost them the title.
They lost the title by 38 points, so it does make a difference, guys. It's not just about testing their driving ability here. We want to test their engineering ability. Of course we do. It's the IMEC key. That's kind of the whole purpose of it, right?
What I'm hearing is TLDR, this is the one place in life where it makes up to be a nerd.
Exactly. Now, we've got a couple of minutes ago, just before the live stream begins. So, rather, before I can get you some footage from the games. The last thing I wanted to show you are the championship standings as we enter into the 6th round tonight, everyone. So, as it stands, look at that. Queen Mary University London, our reigning champions, leading by 551 points from Southampton. Is the bridesmaid, again in second on 547 points, and Vigo on 533 points. There's a bit of a breakaway from the top 3, I have to say. But, to be fair, Surrey, York, Greater Manchester, NCME Racing, Hertfordshire, Glasgow, and Exeter are all within one race victory of the leader. So all it would take is for Queen Mary or Southampton to have a DNF or a really bad round tonight, and they can find themselves thrown back into the top there. So mathematically speaking, there are still 9 teams realistically in with a chance of winning this title with 2 rounds to go. So it is most certainly all to play for. And I'm really looking forward to tonight with 2 1-hour specials coming up.
It's going to be an absolutely great evening of racing. Do please get your comments coming in. We want to know where you're watching from and who you are supporting. Already, Amelia Jono, she's always here and she's a great voice in the fans. She says, let's get the Leicester hype started early. Meanwhile, Carrie says, hi, hello. Ayamara says, let's get this show on the road. And Jojo Scott says, go Aberdeen. Yes, I will remember that Aberdeen. And, you know, Scottish drives for Aberdeen and not one of the other Scottish universities. My geography skills this season, I mean, they've never been very good anyway, but they've been really lacking this series. In fact, during the sound test, I accidentally got Kingston, which is a university based in London, I want to say, mixed up with Kingston St Mary, which is a tiny village 4 miles north of Taunton, where I'm from.
Yes.
Oh, never change, Giles. Never change.
Trust me, I would if I could, but I can't, so we just have to stick with it.
So if we're going to Formula Student in July in Silverstone, don't trust Giles for directions.
No, trust the sat-nav and hope that Giles has plugged it in correctly. 5 minutes before we go racing live here for the first race tonight on the iMechie Sim Racing Series, and it's going to be an absolutely great one because we've got Maseratis going around Sepang. It's a track that we've had here on the Sim Racing before, and I'm thoroughly looking forward to seeing what we are going to get with the racing tonight. I've got a funny feeling that it might be elbows out between Southampton and Queen Mary, and the other teams will certainly hope that it is, because if they do so and they take each other out, as Monty was saying earlier when we were recapping the results, any of those other teams below Southampton and Queen Mary can fully capitalise on that if they end up sending each other to the back of the grid. So all eyes then on where Queen Mary and Southampton qualify, because especially if they qualify close together, we could be on for some very exciting and dramatic racing tonight. And don't forget, it's not the usual format that we're used to seeing here on the Sim Racing Series. We've actually got 2 1-hour races, so we're going to be bringing you full coverage of that non-stop throughout the evening. I can guarantee you it's better than what's going to be on telly. I mean, unless you want an ex-footballer and a boxer shouting at people. We're not doing that. We're a bit more sophisticated. We've got students going wheel to wheel instead.
I know, with virtual sim racing, which you guys can hopefully see the picture of just now. So don't worry, this isn't actual racing. This is the teams just doing their last couple of minutes of warm-up. So the usual format that you guys would normally see is whilst we're chatting, they're doing their qualifying. Then they have a 5-minute warm-up, and then we go and do some racing, do an FS News, and we go and do it all over again. Difference this time, so they've done their qualifying during the week. So we knew the grids before today was even a thing. And so we've extended their warm-up for 10 minutes just so they can get up to speed with their setups. And yes, as Giles was saying before, the idea is they'll do an hour of racing. We'll pause, let them swap their drivers, and then we'll go and race again and carry on in part 2 in that way. It's the closest we can get to doing something like Le Mans. Unfortunately, Assetto Corsa doesn't allow us to action driver changes very easily without a lot of confusion on the timing board, which, as I'm sure we've seen already a few times this season, that poor timing tree does get awfully confused. So to make its life a little bit easier, exactly. So we thought to make life much easier, let's just pause the race, put the next drivers in, and then go racing again, which I guess is a good thing for those who are a couple of laps behind, because now they've caught up again, and then they've got a chance to try and make up some places in the second race. Yeah,
couple of things I'd like to talk about before lights out. Can we just get a look at Exeter's car, please? Because
absolutely,
genuinely, and this is purely on aesthetics
P12.
alone. I think that just looks right in British racing green.
Rob.
I know Maserati is an Italian make, but Rob has just come in here and sent it. He's come in clutch with this. Look at how gorgeous that Maserati looks in British racing green, and especially with the environment that it's in, it just looks natural
It
at Sepang.
looks great. And I'm from Devon as well, in another city in Devon called Plymouth. And they're not in a sim racing series, and Exeter is. And it's just got the Devonshire vibes right there. So fair play to involved for all the skins. And the Maseratis is where all the cars will be racing at tonight. And since we have not many universities pre-qualifying due to, understandably, exams, assignments, we know finals. You know how busy it is for universities this time of the year. So basically, we just got one server tonight, so we didn't have to worry about who's qualified in what server, whatever. Everyone's in one server. And there were rules that if you were like bottom in like server 1, you would be put into server 2. That's not going to happen tonight because we just have one server. I swear we had the same problem last year as well. But that means we get to see teams that we don't expect to be up there. We got Oakland College, which is a post-16 college. They're back as well. I enjoyed seeing them race last time out, Monty, at Aston. They were brilliant.
Yes, I agree with you. I'm not sure I agree with calling it a problem, though. I was actually going to spin this off and say that we've got 29 cars on the grid today for a mega race, but
I'm down for that.
I think that's a much better way of spinning this.
Talking of cars
race with many cars.
Talking of cars on the grid, before we run out of time, can we look at the TV car and see what livery Rob has done for that?
Yes, please. The final one of the evening of the season.
Yes.
It's pink.
It's in full Monty colours. I like the TV as well.
JJ Racing. Yes.
Let's go.
We like
Is that where we can see the inside? Oh no.
What have you seen?
It's got the meme. Look at that, Giles.
6. What does that say? Oh, goodness gracious me.
6, 7.
Also, props to you, Jess, for reading that upside down. Fair play.
I'm good at reading things upside down, but God, Rob,
now
why?
I've been told he's done some pranks on all the rear wings, so I'm about to go and have a nose on them in a second, actually. I'm aware he has also done a clown livery, so we may see this one appear in the second race. I'm not sure, but there was a clown livery he's also done for us. Yeah, they were talking about this in Discord. Look at this. Right, so this is University of York's alumni team, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's gonna put the message of the unks of York. They're the uncles of York.
No, this is it. I genuinely thought unks meant uncles, as did my friend Toby, and it was pointed out to us by his fiancée and my friend Lucy that actually means uncool. It means uncool. Unk means uncool. And as a result, you just confirm that you're uncool by thinking that it means uncle. I'm too old for this, honestly. I mean, have you seen my hairline?
Oh, Giles.
And Giles is younger than both of us. So
well, exactly, and I've got less hair than both of you. So take from that what you will. Don't do a PhD if you value your hair. Anyway, Bolton,
this is brilliant.
Bolton looks gorgeous here, and also has smoked their brakes. Nice. Moments away then from going racing, as everybody starts respawning in the pit lane.
You said the band's word again there, Giles.
Yeah, you meant to say MCME Racing, Giles, not...
Oh, dear. I'm not going to get used to it.
We had senior faculty members giving us a telling off in the last race, so...
Really?
So NCME. All Greater Manchester.
Oh,
actually, we have a lot to catch up on them later in the FS News. They've had a very, very busy month since the last race, so can't wait to share with you guys what they've been up to.
Oh, exciting. And we also got some news from iMechie as well.
Yes, we'll be going through all of that. Big updates ahead of Formula Student at Silverstone. Teams getting prepared to head to the track, and I've actually been sticking my nose into the Cardiff paddock. So as I imagine it is across the country when it comes to Formula Student, it is all systems go as they try to struggle car builds and exams and manage to balance those out, which is never an easy feat, but all hands to the pump, so to speak. Moments away from racing then for the first time this evening for round 6 of the Formula Student Sim Racing Series. I hope it is round 6. I think it is.
Yeah, it is round 6. And speaking of Cardiff, by the way, they raced the last time out.
Oh, the one time the Cardiff show up and do something interesting, and I'm busy over at Prescott.
Yeah. I told you you'll be a bit jealous that you were missing last time up, but I'll let you tell what you got up to in the FS News later on.
Yes, we'll go through all of that. Anyway, we're going to go through the grid very, very soon. Monty, would it be possible to go through the grid with a bird's eye view so we can see the rear wings of each car and work out what jokes are where?
I think it was only on those two teams by the looks of things, because everyone else has got
Boo.
university names on it. So I reckon Rob was just doing a little bit of a joke to our good friends in the York alumni's team.
I'm
So,
certainly not complaining. York, we know York can take a joke. Meanwhile, then, who are you supporting? Where are you watching from? We really do want to hear from you. Spook 6mm 418 says, looking forward to this. Come on, NCME. And the Kid Ozo says, Goo Vermilion. I believe that's supposed to be go, but this one too many O's, but not enough O's to be go. But regardless, I think he's cheering on Vermilion there. Or they, I don't know. More to the point, a lot of support in the chat. Please get your comments in. We'd love to know, who are you supporting? Where are you watching from as we count down to lights out for the first time this evening? And at this point, we've got no way of predicting things, but I will always ask Jess, Monty, your predictions for race 1, please.
Oh, I have no idea. My predictions have not gone very well in some races. I'm going to go with, and I'm not looking at the qualifying results, by the way. I'm going with, MCME. I'm being bold.
Fair enough.
I have no idea. I have not seen the practice. Monty, what about you?
probably this one on pole at the moment. He's put a lot of prep
You
in.
absolute cheat, Monty. You looked at the results.
No, I'm not. I'm not being a cheat. It's just, well, okay, I knew some of it anyway. But yeah, no, Les have been doing a lot of prepping for this. So definitely for the first race, my money would be on it's theirs to lose. But to be honest, they've all prepped so hard for this. So
let's go through the grid then, shall we? Kicking us off in pole, we've got Leicester in first position. Meanwhile, NCME are there on the rounding out the front row of the grid in second. Southampton are there in third, with Vigo in fourth, followed by Bizkaia in fifth. The Montfort University with Daniel Letard behind the wheel, a familiar and very pleasant face here in the sim racing series. They're in sixth. Meanwhile, we've got VER, Vermilion there in seventh. Vermilion, of course, one of our favourite teams at the actual sim racing. Danish, I believe. University Glasgow A team in eighth. Yorkshire's A team. Adam Shamsel there in ninth. Aberdeen with McScottish behind the wheel in 10th. USM, that's Strathclyde's A team there in 11th. Exeter's A team are in 12th. Meanwhile, MTU, Munster Technological University, are there in 13th. And meanwhile, we've got IUT there, and that's the Islamic University of Technology, there in 14th. In 15th, it's Seluk University. We're going to have a fun time with that on the timing board because they're not showing on the timing board, but that is Selkuk University. Meanwhile, we've got the University of Balamand there in 16th. Kingston University are there in 17th. Oakwood Academy there in Oaklands College, are there in 17th. In 18th, we've got Sussex. Sussex are there in 18th. Hertfordshire's B team in 19th in their bright orange livery there. Meanwhile, the University of Hull are there in 20th. 21st, I should say. 24th is Exeter's B team. York's alumni team are there in 23rd. UCLM. The Italians there in 24th. Queen Mary in 25th. That's going to be quite a difficult challenge there.
I believe they're one driver entry as well.
It is, but this is when the points are going to really start to matter, as there's only 5 between themselves and Southampton. Southampton on the second row, and Queen Mary all the way back in 25th. So that's going to pay.
Points deduction.
It's going to make a big difference to them.
Yep. So this is not the first time we've seen Queen Mary have to do a one-drive entry.
It was last time out, I believe, or the time before that. It was round 4, I think it was.
Yeah, it was Virginia, I believe, that they had to do a one-drive entry. Daniel Solon did a great job of getting through into the top 10 on both occasions there. They had 2 drivers for the last one, but yeah, now seeing that they've got to do it again this time, not only have they got to do this from the back of the grid, which, fair enough, with an hour in each race, plenty of time to get back to the front, so I'm looking forward to seeing what he can achieve, but he will now have to receive a percentage of the points. That is essentially the penalty. If you run a one-driver entry more than once in the season, I believe it's 95% of your points when it's a second offence, 85% of whatever you've earned in the third offence, etc., etc. So yes, this is going to compromise their championship battle for sure. Interestingly, we do not have Hertfordshire and we do not have Surrey.
No, well, we had a feeling we weren't going to have Surrey, but interestingly, where's Hertfordshire's A team gone then?
Yeah,
quite sure,
we
but-
have words. We have words, especially Monty. Where are you?
Yes. Well, we've we've got Hertfordshire's B team, so at least half are there. But yes, it's championship protagonist not there, but the lights are coming on, Giles. Over
Here we
to
go
you.
then. Lights up for the first time tonight for the Formula Student Sim Racing Series. 6 lights go red. The revs go up. And they are away around Sepang, and that looks to me to be Southampton getting an absolutely blistering start, as do Bizkaya and Southampton barreling, and they are pulling up into the lead. They've got the jump on both Leicester and NCME into turn 1. That is a monumental start for Southampton, second place in the championship, and they know exactly what they need to do to get themselves onto that top step. They go away with it immediately, and there's plenty of action. Meanwhile, someone going well wide just to the left of my shot there, but banging together. That is Hartford. That is Queen Mary all the way up already into 13th from 25th. A huge jump off the line there for Daniel Soden. Very similarly to Southampton, knows what he needs to do and is making it happen as he looks to the inside of these two drivers up ahead of him, Kingston and IUT there. Going down the inside of both of them. That's a double overtaking maneuver. But meanwhile, that is Kingston getting well ahead of Queen Mary. They're side by side are the two London universities. Meanwhile, here is NCME back down in third. They started out in second. And then unfortunately for them, Southampton just had an absolutely blistering start from the line. And they are now into third, our NCME, with a rear view full of De Montfort, who had a cracking start as well.
And we got Vermilion that has went past us. Bizkaya's had a bit of a moment, not ideal. With the sweeping corners around here, it could be a really easy to try and go for a move here. But look at that elevation change as you go up through the hill there. That's going to challenge our drivers in those Maseratis, as that was quite close there between IUT and someone else, which I can't see. Someone went sideways there, which is, I can't see who that was there. That's Oakland's, I believe.
Team?
Yeah, that's Oakland's. Oakland's that went side by side there.
Oakland's going sideways across the racing line, causing a lot of traffic up ahead of them. So IUT, Exeter Racing, USM, York, and UCLM all affected by that. But then again, fair play to them. They are under 18 and they are right there amongst the big boys. Here's Southampton, talking of big boys, coming through to complete their first lap. Leicester on their rear end. They haven't let go. Neither have NCME, but they will have to contend with Vigo and De Montfort as well behind them. They are closing in, and there's only 0.8 seconds between the front runners in the top two. Here's Queen Mary up into the top 10 already after one lap. That is only 6 seconds away from their championship rival Southampton. They will be hoping to close that down in the next 57 minutes. Meanwhile, having an absolute whale of a time is Daniel Letard for DMU, an absolutely conquering start off the line there. You could see the rhubarb and custard of the DMU car. And here, meanwhile, you're on board with Vigo. They're looking to the outside, trying to go to the inside and get the switch back on them now. Can they go through? No, they can't. And De Montfort closed them off. Excellently handled then from De Montfort, who are doing impeccably well. Another team doing impeccably well. Up into 7th goes Queen Mary ahead of York's Adam Shamsel. York's Adam Shamsel clinging on for dear life to the back end, but Queen Mary pulling away, and there's only 56 minutes and 45 seconds of racing or so to go. Plenty of time then for Queen Mary to make up time. They were in 25th, but they've already got 18 of those positions sorted in less than 2 laps. Absolutely mental stuff there. Kingston going ahead of Hull's alumni team. Meanwhile, here you are with... Yes, in fact, it is trying to close in our Hull and trying to get them back ahead of Kingston, but they're not going to quite manage it here. Ahead of those, we've got Bizkaya. Meanwhile, back aboard with De Montfort. They've got a bit of a queue building up behind them, I must say. You've got Vigo and Vermilion, two teams that you do not want to be on the wrong side of. And Vermilion are going to dive down the inside of De Montfort, getting side by side, wheel to wheel there, closing out De Montfort are Vermilion, as well as, sorry, I should have said that was Vigo closing out De Montfort, but Vermilion are going to capitalize, a nose ahead of the pair of them as they go down the start-finish straight, closing in onto the racing line. Absolutely impeccable stuff from Vermilion, and that puts them up into, I want to say, 4th. They're locking up, and that's Vigo forcing De Montfort wide. And I know for a fact Daniel Letard will not be happy with that, having to lock up. You could see the a squirt of tyre smoke off the brakes there, having to lock up to avoid contact with both Vigo and Vermilion. The three duking it out then for 4th position as Vermilion position themselves in a very well orientated line to ensure that they can defend against a Vigo on the charge. Docking up in the background there look to me to be York or Aberdeen. Meanwhile, they're sticking there with Vermilion and Vigo. This is a real battle for the ages here. Very well done from both teams. And De Montfort, don't count them out yet, but they will have to contend with Queen Mary, who are on an absolute send and chasing down their championship rival Southampton, currently in the lead with a 0.9 second gap between themselves and second place Leicester. Vermilion in fourth here. Meanwhile, then is Queen Mary trying to go round and go inside of De Montfort. De Montfort switching it up and getting ahead of them. I should say, sorry, this is UCLM we're suddenly with. I do apologise.
I was gonna say, Giles, you got your geography one. We don't want you to get your universities mixed up, for goodness sake. You already got Sussex and Surrey mixed up.
I'll tell you why that is, Jess. De Montfort and Queen Mary both running pink and orange, and meanwhile we've also got these guys, UCLM. And
York Alumni, which and York Alumni, by the way, one of my favourite liveries, because I tend to run these type of colours when I race. So chef's kiss. Meanwhile, Queen Mary making another position past De Montfort up into sixth place. I wondered though if Queen Mary has had better races over the season, they could use this as a drop round. And the beauty is, if everybody who's missing tonight has had decent races around the course of the season, they can use this as a drop round. So it's not over yet for some people in the championship. As Kingston has got a bit too squirrely there towards the final corner. They were a bit too early on the throttle. Would that allow Holes and Lemonade to go side by side with them in towards turn one? This is my favourite bit of this circuit. You really got to have the commitment, because you're turning once and you keep turning. Actually, no, it might not be turn one. Never mind. This is the start-finish trying getting my turns mixed up. It's been a busy day here for me, but I have to say, Southampton pulling the gap now within a second. It's harder to overtake Live 4 in terms of the front guys, but for these people down in the midfield, they're definitely giving something to watch. I'm impressed, Giles, with Vermilion. To be fair, I'm not going to say too much more, because last time I said something good about Vermilion, they spun. But at the moment, I'm not going to say too much more, but they're on for their best result of the season. Touch wood.
Plenty of comments coming in. Max saying University of Sussex, please get our name right this time. I then proceeded to get their name wrong, and Max commented, called us Surrey again with a face palm emoji. Yes, sorry, Sussex. Meanwhile, Daniel Solon saying NCME or Southampton to win the round, leaning towards NCME. Let's hope we don't let you down, Monty, says Amelia Jono. Jay Upwood saying moment of silence for the engine noises, please. And Miss Mayor Pumpkin asking new logo there, Monty. I'm not quite sure what she means there, but I'm sure Monty does. You're on board currently with Queen Mary University, who are chasing down both Vigo and Vermilion with De Montfort behind them. All to play for then as they get up into third gear, trying to find a way past Vigo, and currently they can't. Vigo know how to defend. We've seen it before, but they go wide. And can Queen Mary capitalize on this? They get a nose in. They look to the inside and they get closed down by Vigo, who sweep onto the racing line and say, not today, sunshine, and slap the door in their face, trying with everything they can to get through our Queen Mary whilst keeping it clean. They come in down this straight into the hairpin. I agree with Jess. The last corner and the first corner together make some absolutely excellent racing. See whether they can get the slipstream. Can Queen Mary on Vigo? They look to the inside now. It's a left-handed corner. You know they've got it, and they've got it in great style. They lock up just a little bit, trying to maintain the corner. Can Vigo get the switch back? No, they can't. And they're going to cross the line with Queen Mary up into fifth position with 51.5 minutes to go. That is an absolutely fantastic result for Queen Mary, who started out in 25th. They're side by side into turn one. Vigo going wide to try and close in on Queen Mary and try and return themselves to position. But as you were saying, Jess, you've got to commit and you've got to really turn it in. But they do get the switch back to Vigo, and they're going to put themselves back up into fifth, perhaps. They are side by side, wheel to wheel, but Queen Mary are ahead. This is impeccable racing, and it just goes to show why Queen Mary won last year and are on track possibly to win again this year. This is absolutely first-class stuff from these teams.
Yeah, I agree, Giles. I mean, there's certain corners around here that kind of remind me of some other F1 circuits. Of course, Herman Tilt designed it, and turn number one looked very familiar to a bit of the turn 1 and 2 at China because of how windy it is as well. And someone went a bit wide there saying that was Southampton. They lost about a tenth from that, but that could make all the difference as the tyres start to overheat and get a bit worse for wear. And don't forget, they will have to make a pit stop. They don't have to, but I know those tyres won't last the entire race. I can tell you that, and I'm almost certain they might have to make a pit stop as well. But Leicester has gained about 2 tenths over Southampton within that sector alone. As you can see, they've got the car built for speed here, and Bolton is going to try and catch up as well in the process. And that was a bit of a slide there. Nicely saved from MTME Racing there. Brilliant stuff.
Wonderful stuff from the third place team, NCME, rounding out the podium as things stand. Ahead of them, Leicester, Amelia saying that her nails are going to be chewed to the quick by the end of this race. I know that was Aranois saying the length of my fingernails is going to reduce dramatically through this race. I imagine Amelia is currently on the edge of her seat as well, as Vermilion, meanwhile, have got Queen Mary to contend with now. Queen Mary now thoroughly ahead of Vigo, and that's going to mean that they're going to have to contend with Vermilion. Meanwhile, here's York's A-team with a whole train building up behind them. We've got Aberdeen, Glasgow, and Bizkaya in that. Meanwhile, Hull coming through to round out that train behind York's A-team. There may well be only one Adam Shamsel, but there's more than one car behind them, and they're going to have to contend with that as they go into turn one, looking to try and hold off the approaching horde of teams who will want to get through on them. And one mistake from York could spell an absolute disaster. It wouldn't be just one position. It would be, by my count, at least 3, perhaps 4. So the pressure well and truly on York's A-team and Adam Shamsel right now. Up ahead of them, you've got Scottish and Aberdeen. You've got a Glaswegian team, another Scottish team there. We've got Glasgow and Bizkaya all in a train behind potentially struggling York. Are York struggling for pace? What do you think is causing this, Jess? Why are they holding up so many people?
I have no idea, to be honest. And if you're just stuck in a train for a long period of time, you're going to lose so much time. And the ones that are going to benefit are the ones behind with clearer air, like Kingston, for example, RUT. If I were you, maybe get one of your pit stops out of the way to get rid of the dirty air and for you to get into some clean air, for you to fight for position a bit more. And speaking of that, we've got Selleck Racing, who is coming out of the pit, and they've done their first stop, so they're all done and dusted there. I wonder if they're going to have to make a multiple tyre change. We'll have to wait and see, or will they do a splash and dash at the end? Meanwhile, York Alumni team are fighting with UCLM for 50 places. UCLM trying to go around the outside, but York A trying to cover off nicely, but no, UCLM is having none of it as they go side by side once more. This is a great track to go racing. We know that F1 announced that Turkey was going to be on the calendar. I was thinking, why not Sepang? Sepang is showing some brilliant racing, and tonight these Formula Students... that was a save then again from UCLM. We saw that with MCME Racing earlier on today. Incredible stuff.
It is in that corner that they do seem to lose it and then just hang it on the absolute ragged edge, and it makes for an absolutely wonderful spectacle, that penultimate corner. But can York's alumni team close through on the inside of UCLM through the hairpin into the start-finish straight? They are side by side, and it looks to me like UCLM have still got this one. Yes, they are leaving behind York's alumni team. Well done there by the Italians, and they hold on to 15th position there, Jess. And I do agree with you. I think this would be a welcome addition to the Formula One calendar, would Sepang. We know they've been there before. Bring it back. Bring it back.
Giles.
Yeah.
Spanish.
Oh, not
Giles,
again.
Giles' geography is not doing good. And I'm not going to trust Giles for directions when we go to Williams in a few months' time.
Hey, look, you can get a lift with Monty, Jess. There you are.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
yes.
Exeter's A-team are sitting there in 23rd. They are currently a minute and 7 seconds behind the leaders Southampton, so they could really do with finding some pace, but at least they're not last, and they still look absolutely gorgeous. Meanwhile, Kingston there in 12th. They've got up ahead now of Hull there. Well done for them. Into 12th go Kingston. Meanwhile, York are still clinging on for dear life with this rapidly approaching train, mere centimetres between themselves and the front end of Aberdeen, with McScottish behind the wheel, growing impatient, I can imagine, with Glasgow and Biscaya all biding their time as well. No one seems to want to make a move here because they don't want to risk drama or an accident, but equally, there's only so long that you can wait, and patience must be wearing thin at this point for these teams behind Adam Shamsel as they approach the straight line into that final hairpin. And pit stops, we've seen a smattering of them already, but we're approaching a quarter of the way through the race duration now, and one would think that we might start seeing a few more, and York will be causing the degradation of the tyres of the cars behind them with no actual benefit. They're not degrading the making position. They're just going for a Sunday drive at this point until someone decides to be brave. And Aberdeen are in 6th gear going down the start-finish straight into turn 1. Are they going to be brave? Is there a potential for a move here? No, but they get very, 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 very close. And they touch the rear end of York's car, and they get into a bit of a scrap there. Body panels being punched in by one another, paint being swapped between York and Aberdeen. Glasgow waiting in the wings to see which of these drivers is going to come a copper. And here comes both Glasgow and Aberdeen trying for it on York's A-team. York have got the inside line. Aberdeen are going to have to get on the switchback if they possibly can, but I'm sure that they will, because not to mention, if they are brave enough to make a move, not only have they got to make sure they get through, they've got to make sure that if they abort, they don't lose the position to the car behind them. So this is really, really intense racecraft going on, and it's fantastic wheel-to-wheel action simultaneously.
Yes, they got to be careful that they don't wear out their tyres a little bit, though, because the more they're stuck behind the car, the more they're going to wear out their tyres, and the more the tyres are going to overheat. But I'm sure they would have thought about it in terms of the strategy, as they don't want to get held up by another car too soon, because they're just going to lose so much raw pace that they have in clear air as well. So Aberdeen Scottish has got to get a move on past Adam Shamsel. We got Glasgow fighting with Biscaya, as Hull Alumni has got past Kingston for 12th. Great result from them so far. I want to see the battle for the lead, because it's less than half attempt, as Leicester's got past Southampton for the lead of this race. Leicester has found a hell of a good time to try and get past Southampton, and MCME Racing is not that far behind either. Southampton could try and go for another move. They got the slipstream as they head towards this next turn, but it doesn't look like they're going to go for it just yet. Oh, Southampton's going to try go around the outside, but Leicester's doing a great job to try and hold that there. We have got some pitters, but almighty, that was close between Leicester and Southampton. And I've just seen the chat from Miss Mayor Pumpkin. I think Giles needs to drink some sort of energy drink that the top 3 are on. Other energy drinks are available, of course, but Vigo and Vermilion are in the pit, Giles.
Vigo, Vermilion, 2 fantastic racers in the midfield here, but I've got a feeling, Jess, that Southampton must have made some sort of mistake, because they were over a second ahead of Leicester at the last time of looking, and then as you rightly caught it, there was less than a tenth of a second between them, and suddenly Leicester were ahead. So something clearly had to have happened there between Southampton and Leicester. I've got a funny feeling Southampton must have made a mistake. If someone on the chat could confirm this, that would be absolutely wonderful, because Southampton were leading in an absolutely categoric fashion. They got ahead of the 2 front runners, Southampton and NCME and Leicester. And all of a sudden, they've been caught well and truly, because here comes NCME to take another position back off Southampton and reduce them to where they started out on the grid in 3rd. Can NCME do the same as Leicester and get through here on Southampton? Have Southampton cooked their tyres in an attempt to get away and made the mistake losing grip? And as a result, Leicester's capitalised. Those pit stops, as you were saying there, Jess, are coming in now. So are we seeing the results of degraded tyres on Southampton's car? Time will well and truly tell. Here we come then into the hairpin. This is exactly where Southampton lost it to Leicester. Can NCME make a repeat of the move? They're certainly going to try. You can see them eyeing up the inside line on Southampton there. They're coming alongside.
There they go.
Can they make it count? Can they close in? Yes, they can. Yes, they can. What is going on? Oh, no, they go well wide. They go well and truly off in a big way, or are they going into the pits? I think they're pitting.
MCME is in the pits. I'm a bit shocked as to why MCME are in, but Southampton isn't, because Southampton looked like they were struggling more with the tyre wear, so maybe they were pushing a bit too much there. So I thought it would have been the other way around. But meanwhile, with Queen Mary allowing to have clean air, we'll see how much time they can make up before they make their pit stop. De Montfort has also come in with Daniel Ittar behind the wheel. We also just seen another team go into the pit. I'm just trying to see it on the back of my head, but I can't see it. But it is, of course it is. It's Scottish. Aberdeen who's come in as, where is MCME going to come out? They're going to come out just ahead of Vigo, and they've got about 10 seconds of clear air. So they're actually, no, less than 10 seconds, but they got to clear air at least, MCME, which is not much could be said for Southampton. They lost a hell of a lot of time. They lost like 2 seconds over Leicester. So I wonder if their tyres are cooked, Mr. Cosgrove.
I've got a funny feeling they might well be, but meanwhile, Leicester cooking, according to Amelia Jono. She says, let's go. The power of the bucket hat. You can't really knock a bucket hat. I'm rather partial to them. Leicester leading then here for race 1 of the Formula Student Sim Racing Series, round 6 tonight from Sepang, with Southampton, who made an absolutely rocketing start from 3rd into the lead, sent back down into 2nd place, a gap of 2 seconds now between themselves and front starters Leicester, who capitalised on what we assume was a mistake. We never saw it. It's what we're thinking has happened. Please correct us if we're wrong in the chat on the live stream here. Southampton, then, we think their tyres are going. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw Southampton come in on this next lap. And I must say, I really did think that NCME were going to go through and capitalise and work up a bit of a gap between themselves and Southampton before going for the pit, but they went straight in. Are we going to see the same from Southampton? No, we don't. Leicester go in instead. Your race leaders are now in the pit lane. Southampton have stayed out inadvisably, would you say, Jess?
Again, why is Southampton staying out where Leicester looked like the one they were gaining a little bit? I'm a bit shocked, to be honest with you, as Queen Mary has gone in as well. Yeah, I don't know what's happened with Southampton, to be honest. I mean, tonight's their chance to really capitalise on Queen Mary's one driver entry, and I think they're just going to lose so much time. The undercut's quite powerful, as we've seen. And here comes MCME Racing. I don't think much of difference is going to happen between them and Leicester, but they're going to gain so much on Southampton. Oh no, never mind. MCME, with that undercut, has taken the lead, the net race lead, and they also, Vigo's got ahead of them as well. So the disadvantage of Leicester and Southampton not pitting when they did, MCME are leading. So Southampton, they've got to come in. Now they've realised that Leicester's not in P2, MCME is. They're going to be in a whole spot of bother as the University of Greater Manchester, they are capitalising. And that's why I picked them for the race win. They just have that raw pace and they get the strategy right. They even got a good setup as well with top engineers at their disposal. And they're gaining on Southampton already, Giles. What is Southampton doing?
Southampton.
I can probably come in with something if you want, guys.
Yes.
Yeah, go on, Monty.
Right. There's 2 things to consider here. You can see the drop-off of performance once the tyres go. So, the earlier you pit, yes, you get that advantage, but you're going to be a sitting duck come the end of the race. So, are Southampton taking the pain now so they can come and claw back later? The other thing to consider as well, they have all pitted with about 40 minutes to go. That means they've lasted 20 minutes. That suggests they're committing to a 2 pit stopper. Are Southampton trying to get it to 30 minutes to save themselves another 40 seconds in the pit by only doing 1 pit stop? We'll find out at the end of this corner. Southampton going to do another lap, or are they going to give up?
They're going to give up.
Okay. Well, okay, it's definitely not going to be a 1 pit stop that we need to worry about then, but certainly they are taking the pain now. Hopefully they're going to come and claw back later. This is going to be fascinating.
Oh, great. I mean, I'm a bit shocked. If they were committed to the 1 stop, I would have saved to do 5 more minutes and stayed out, but I'm guessing they want to take the pain early, but they're going to lose so much more time. You can see the pit stops being made. I think they're the only team not to make a pit stop at the front lot, and they're going to probably drop behind Queen Mary if they're not careful. So I think we could see MCME Racing coming through the start finish straight, and we got Queen Mary as well. I think they're just going to be ahead of Queen Mary, Southampton, so they're going to be lucky there, but it's going to be tight. Here comes Dan from Queen Mary. Southampton have lost a chunk of time. They were first in the first few laps. Now they dropped to 4th place. Not good.
What can Southampton do then? 35 minutes and 50 seconds to decide. They started out in third. They made an absolutely rocketing start, but have they made a misguided pit strategy? Time will, of course, tell, but your race leaders, as things stand, are NCME. We know they've got the gear, and we know they've got the team behind them. They've got a virtual pit wall there, working out a strategy live, so they are going to have the advantage of a larger team around them than some of the others do run, and they've already nearly 2 seconds ahead of their closest rivals. Vigo got up ahead with an excellently timed pit stop as well. Leicester, they started out in first. They are now down to third with 2 seconds, nearly 3 seconds between themselves and NCME.
But they're catching up to Leicester's catching up to Vigo though with the fresher rubber, so they could still get second place here, Giles.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Here we go then. This is going to be some incredibly exciting stuff for the remainder of the race. Southampton under pressure then from their nearest rivals, Queen Mary. How did I know that we were going to get to this point? Wheel-to-wheel action between Southampton and Queen Mary. It was inevitable, and we're going to see now who can come out on top. Neither driver will want to risk being a DNF here or causing significant damage to their cars, because only 5 points separate these teams, and a significant points limitation to either of them will spell disaster for their championship hopes. Other teams will be hoping for a coming together, because if these two teams don't finish or finish low, it blows everything wide open. So keep your eyes on the blue and orange here in the top of your screens as they come through onto the start-finish straight. Race leaders NCME just exiting the shot there. Vigo going side by side with Leicester. Leicester started in pole. They're going to be determined to get back there as they go through on the inside of Vigo, locking up ever so slightly. They've done an excellent job there, and they've closed it down, and that is Leicester up into second place. Vigo holding on with the slipstream. Can they close back through? I'm not convinced. I do think Leicester have signed, sealed, and Stevie wondered it. They have got through, and they are in second place now, hunting down NCME, who are currently leading with a gap reduced down to 2.1 seconds. It was nearly 3 seconds a moment ago. So Leicester lapping very nicely there. Talking of very nicely, Southampton and Queen Mary keeping it clean as they battle it out. Yeah, absolutely. They're battling out nonetheless, though. Even if it doesn't look like it, you'll know for a fact that both teams will be strategizing, trying to get through on each other, or in Southampton's case, certainly defending the position. They'll be determined to stay ahead of their nearest rivals. 5 points between Southampton and Queen Mary in the current championship standings. Queen Mary looks to me to be 0.5 seconds between the two drivers there, as Southampton and Queen Mary take full advantage of the track and head it just a little bit onto the green there, just managing to stay within track limits. Here we go then. Can Queen Mary find a way through here? They're not close enough just yet, but we've seen Southampton make mistakes earlier on, and we know that the hairpin is a weakness of theirs, so quite possibly your current championship leaders could be on to jumping ahead of Southampton, like current championship winners, I should say. Do excuse me. Meanwhile, here is IUT. Oh dear, that's a lock-up and a half. Just managed to hold it there. Did the team... there's a word there. It's on the back of the car, but it's not on the timing board.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
Selkirk. Brilliant.
We can't pronounce it. We're rubbish.
I'm not convinced. I'm not. That was a great timing for that top-down view there, because I'm not convinced they stayed in track limits. But there we are. MTU Munster trying to get through on Selkirk then, with BAL ahead of them. 19th, 20th, and 21st. Meanwhile, Vermilion have gone through on De Montfort. Should be something that De Montfort are familiar with at this point, but nonetheless frustrated by, I should imagine, in the case of Daniel Letard, who will be trying to close back in on them, sneaking right under their tail fin to get the slipstream and trying to get on the inside, go around the outside. That's a brave move there.
Oh, they had a bit of a slide there, De Montfort.
Nearly losing the rear end as they try and go through on the outside and then switch it back onto the inside. Excellent driving from De Montfort, but Vermilion defending like mad. An excellent defense from the Danes as De Montfort have to accept 7th place.
Yep, looks like it, doesn't it? But Monty was talking about the offset in pitting, in the difference between pitting early or pitting later. Now, we're seeing it not work for Southampton, but could this work for Leicester? Because MCME Racing pitted a lot earlier than everybody else, whereas we're seeing a battle for 20th place. Are we seeing it go into Leicester's hand with them having the fresher tyres and with the lower fuel? when MCME pitting. I don't know. We're seeing varying strategies here today, and I'm loving it.
Absolutely.
Oh.
I mean, diving into the pit lane there is, of course, Selkirk. We've been on board with them. They've been battling it out with, by looks of things there, with Strathclyde. They were going wheel to wheel with there. Their tyres clear. Oh, is that BAL? Sorry, that's BAL. Ballerman
BAL
Racing.
is in, yes.
They are heading into the pits, and looks to me to be their tyres were cooked as they were going wheel to wheel with Strathclyde there. Meanwhile, up ahead, we've got only a 0.8 second gap now between University of Leicester and NCME. The gap is closing. Leicester are on the charge. Their rubber just a little bit fresher than that of NCME, who pitted a lap or two earlier, and it is paying off for Leicester. But of course, as we've been saying earlier, once the tyres are gone, the tyres are really gone. And pushing like this is just going to invite the tyres to go earlier. So if Leicester do get ahead of NCME, who may be ensuring that their tyres last longer, are they perhaps going to be in with a bit of an issue? And that's a back marker getting in the way of Leicester's charge. Ballerman getting in the way of a charging Leicester, and they finally get out of the way, but that's not going to be what Leicester wanted. They are going to lose time there as they were trying to make a charge. Ballerman came out right between NCME and Leicester, and that offered NCME a reprise from this mounting charge from Leicester, and as a result, they're going to be heaving a sigh of relief. Ballerman did do well to get out of the way, but they could do with getting out of the way here now with Vigo as well. There are no blue flags in this series, of course. It's a gentleman's agreement, but nonetheless, it's sporting to get out of the way if you're the slower car, and Ballerman do just that. Nicely done there from
like
them,
the
and that's
karting,
Vigo
isn't
up
it?
into... Exactly, and that's Vigo up into third place. Leicester and NCME using all of the track and a little bit more there, just managing to cling on to the track limits as NCME have a 0.4 second gap between themselves and Leicester. The move is coming. It's an inevitability. The question is when, where, and will it hold? Here we go then. Leicester getting very, very close to the rear end of NCME there through that left-hander. Getting up into third gear, getting into fourth. They are pushing now as they try and find a way through on NCME, who have done incredibly well with their strategy to put themselves into first place. But Leicester do seem to be the faster car with newer tyres, and as a result, NCME are on the defence, and they've got a back marker ahead of them. They're going to need them to get out of the way, otherwise they're going to be held up here, and that's not going to be ideal for a team who've got a very, very fast car all over their back end.
Yeah, I think Leicester and MCME, we both tipped them to be the ones to potentially win this one, and this is definitely showing right now with the strategy. Yes, you could be good in terms of pace, but if you get the strategy wrong, that's where you're really going to start to crumble. We've got quite a lot of predictions as Vigo's coming in again.
Ooh, that's an interesting shout there. Meanwhile, back here, though, on the start-finish straight, tucked up in behind them, going out on the outside, are Leicester on NCME. Can they close it down? Can they get the switchback? And they're going round the outside here. If they cling on for dear life, they might just be able to go on the inside, and they do. They go on the inside of NCME through turn 2, into turn 3, and that is Leicester into the lead. An absolutely monumental move that could decide the race. Excellent racing from Leicester, and that's NCME down into second. It was a really bold move, clinging for dear life to the outside.
Lovely.
On turn 1 and getting the switch back onto the turn 2. Through the inside they went. They're side by side yet again. NCME unwilling to give an inch. Absolutely perfection when it comes to racecraft here between these two teams. Brilliant stuff as Leicester pull away now with that slightly faster car. The gap opening up to 0.3 seconds near enough. Excellent stuff. Jess, I'm thoroughly loving this.
I love the endurance last year, and when Monty said at the end of the last race that it's going to happen again, I had the biggest smile on my face, and this is why, Giles, because we're getting superb racing, and I don't want it to stop. I really don't want it to stop. I want it to keep going, and it is just showing the pure skill that the top drivers especially have as well, and it is nice to see. But by the way, massive shout out to Bizkaya. We had them at the FS News quite a few rounds ago, and they were just running a Logitech setup, which is what Monty and I started with, and they're still running in P8, and this is what the cusp of the Formula Student Sim Racing Series is. You don't have to have the fancy equipment. You don't have to have all this fancy tech like MCME Racing. You just got to have a bit of fun, learn as you go, and learn from just being here and learning about the strategies, and it's nice to see them doing well. Actually, we're seeing some more pit stops in the background. Exodus B team has made their way through. I don't think they made their second pit stop yet. I'm starting to think, Giles, that the 2-stop is probably the best move for some of the guys, especially lower down the grid.
It might well be, but it doesn't. It just, honestly, it strikes me as a little bit odd that Vigo came in for their second stop so early. It just doesn't seem particularly well spaced out compared to their first stop. Meanwhile, here is York A team. Now, Scottish has clearly got through on them because that's Aberdeen in 9th since we last saw them. But we've still got Glasgow stuck behind York, and well, they must have the patience of a saint, must Glasgow. Meanwhile, here's Vermilion into the pits then. The Danes are in the pit lane, and that's going to allow Vigo to go through, as well as possibly Bizkaya and even maybe Aberdeen. And indeed, both of those two drivers do go through on the Danish side there. Vermilion still in the pit lane. Are York's A team going to go through? Yes, they do. Glasgow's A team go through as well. And it's going to be all to do for a team that have been running very well. And is it a little bit premature to be coming in for that second stop? It's certainly not as premature as Vigo was, but it's still a little early. I would be coming in around the 20-minute mark if I was them. If I could just eke out the remains of what's left of the grip on those tyres.
I would do three. If I were them, I'll do 3 lots of 20s. Pit in 20 minutes.
That's a lock up there ahead of them.
Yeah, I would have pitted at 20 minutes. Then I would have pit 20 25 minutes, and then another then another 10 or 20 minutes. It'll be evened out a little bit as Kingston comes in.
What if?
There's a lot of what if, Monty. Yeah.
Well, here's one I've observed. Vigo are on mediums, whereas everyone's on hards. Do you reckon Vigo are trying to do a 3-pit stop and just sprinting it?
Let's look at the tyres actually, Monty, while you think about it. We got Leicester and MTME on hards. Maybe that's why Southampton were struggling earlier on. They were on mediums. Queen Mary's on mediums. So is Vigo. And anyone else? Vermilion on mediums as well.
Now we're seeing why
is on the mediums too. And yeah, that's it. I should have been paying attention to the tyres, but I wasn't. And I was wondering why Southampton was struggling like this, but maybe that's why. Or they might have been on the hards and they were just struggling for temperature. I don't know. But the ones on the mediums, that is going to be interesting. I'm almost certain that Southampton will have to come in, Giles. Again.
Absolutely. Tyre compound clearly is what is going on here and what's separating these teams and their strategies. It's why Vigo was coming in so early. I suspect that Vigo, as you were saying there, Monty, are going for that 3-stop and really sending it and just absolutely shredding their tyres in the hope of making up pace with each stint and making a real go of it towards the end of the race. So clearly they're ones to watch towards the end of this race. Meanwhile, here is Scottish and Aberdeen making a move on Bizkaya, both on the hard compound as Bizkaya take the inside line into turn 1. Aberdeen locking up their brakes. You can see them glowing inside there. It's a gorgeous sight to see as they go through turn 1 into turn 2. It's a fantastic complex of corners here. And Aberdeen are well and truly right with them as Bizkaya fly past the camera there. And here comes Aberdeen. Can they make a move? Looking to the outside and they get closed down. Bizkaya get wise to it, but Aberdeen try and go in on the inside. They close it down and they break very, very late indeed. Does Scottish. An absolutely impeccable move there from Aberdeen, who sweeps away with it with Bizkaya relegated down into 8th. The gap immediately opening up to 0.3 seconds and widening. Amazing stuff there from Aberdeen. Scottish in 7th. Meanwhile, up ahead, we've got Leicester, who have opened up the gap to NCME, and that is now 2.4 seconds between the two front runners, getting a little bit squiffy there through the second to last corner, I should say. Southampton, meanwhile, on mediums alongside Queen Mary, fairly evenly paced between those two teams. The gap staying fairly steady at about 2.5 seconds there. Here, meanwhile, is de Montfort, Daniel Letard there. Elsewhere, down at the back there, I've really got to say a massive congratulations because I missed it last round. Oakland's College, 16, 17-year-olds. Some of these won't have their driver's license yet, and yet they are right there with a bunch of university students.
And they're going to get some decent points as well.
Yeah,
with just being in the top server.
Like, hats off. If I had my hat on, I'd be taking it off. Meanwhile, here's Kingston battling out with Munster and Selkirk. as Selkirk look to the outside. As
is it going to be 3 wide?
Munster. It is 3 wide into turn 1. And Kingston do manage to stay ahead as Munster are going to have to contend with a Selkirk on the charge. As Kingston managed to cling on for dear life, and Selkirk and Munster nearly take each other out in the process. And Munster trying to get through on Kingston, and it allowed Selkirk to close right in on them there, and they were swapping body paint come the end of that one. Meanwhile, York, they are currently battling out with both Glasgow and Bizkaya. Bizkaya have aborted and gone into the pits. Bizkaya there in the pits for you. As meanwhile, the gap is opened up even more. It's now 3.3 seconds between your race leaders, Leicester and NCME. Bizkaya spending a fair old time in the pits. Revving it like mad. That's a nice sound. It was a long stop.
Was it fuel and tyres, Giles?
It could well be. It could well be, Jess. But if that's the case, then they're going to want to charge. And they're going to need to charge because there's only 20 minutes left on the clock now as Bizkaya re-enter ahead of Hull's alumni.
And if it was to do the split, I recommend stay out for 20 laps, then pit a lap 40 again. Then no, not lap 40, 20 minutes to go. Then a majority of people come into the pits now as De Montfort, by the way, having a good fight with Vigo. De Montfort on the hard tyres and Vigo on the medium tyres. And Vigo just about clings ahead. And Vigo's already done their 2 stops. I'm not convinced, Giles, that medias could get to the end.
I think Vigo are going to have to concede this position either out on track or in the pit lane because they're going to need to stop again. Because these mediums will not last. I do agree with you there, Jess. Meanwhile, here is Strathclyde in the pits as UCLM go ahead of them. Kingston surely will follow suit. Here's Southampton, meanwhile, and NCME up in the pits. They managed to build themselves up into 3rd, and they are in the pits now. And plenty of teams are going to fly on past. Eventually, these teams are going to have to go into the pits. Are NCME making an absolutely genius overcut, or is this gonna be a disaster for them? We've got 19 minutes before we find out, but regardless, De Montfort and Aberdeen heading on through past them, and NCME will struggle with that. De Montfort, meanwhile, are actually in the pits. De Montfort have headed into the pits. I thought we already saw them. This must be their 2nd stop at least. NCME then coming out ahead of De Montfort. I swear they did more
stops than that. But
I thought they had as well. But
that's how much we know. But we'll see.
Everybody's coming in now. We've got De Montfort, Aberdeen, York and Glasgow all in the pits. The big one for me though is NCME have come out in 5th position with 18.5 minutes on fresh tyres. If they really push this and those drivers ahead of them have to pit, which they will do because of the nature of this race, we're going to see some really interesting stuff coming in at the last 10 minutes. So do keep your eyes out. Meanwhile, here's Vermilion trying to get back through on De Montfort. De Montfort have lost their position to Vermilion previously, but through pit stops and all manner of other drama, they've managed to get back ahead. Can Daniel Letard on what I assume to be fresh tyres? It may have been a splash and dash, that last stop that we saw, but can Daniel hold on to this position? They don't touch, but it's ever so close, and that looked to me to be outside of track limits there from Vermilion, momentarily, of course, and certainly better than I could do, but equally, I know that will be picked up by the automated system. As De Montfort managed to lead Vermilion then, the sun beginning to set here in Spain, or at least the virtual Spain. And we're going to go for another hour of racing very soon.
It's not Spain, Giles. It's Malaysia.
Malaysia. Hang on. Someone said to me Spain earlier, I swear.
No, that was another university. Monty, I think Giles's geography knowledge has gone from
Just do me a favour. Someone put 2p in the meter.
Yeah, there should be a geography jar on how many stuff he gets wrong. Meanwhile, Southampton have taken the lead. What's happened to Leicester? Oh, they pitted. Never mind.
The top 3 have pitted. Now, keep an eye on NCME now. Keep an eye on NCME. How much ground can they make up here as the top 3 are in the pits? Here they are then. Here they go down the start-finish line. NCME are going to be crossing every appendage they possibly can, but they come out ahead of this top 3. But I'm not quite sure if it's going to work for them. But yes, it does. Yes, it does. NCME are in 2nd place, and this is huge because we know Vigo are going to have to pit again because they are on a different strategy. NCME could well have taken this through a genius bit of maneuvering.
Honestly, I think the pit wall is definitely helping them there at the moment. But I know Leicester, and I know people in the chat from Leicester know that they're not going to give up here. So we'll see what Leicester can do. Vigo, I know they won't pit because MCME and Leicester, they want hard tyres before the pit stop. And if their hards can't make it, how will the medias of Vigo make it? If Vigo gets to the end by some miracle, that would be insane. But we are going to keep an eye on the gap between Vigo and MCME race throughout the entirety of the race. So watch this space. Let us know in the chat if you think MCME are going to do it or if you think Leicester's going to do it. But I know for certain people, if you're watching for those universities, know that your university is probably going to do it right now. Biscaya, meanwhile, are fighting Glasgow for 9th spot. And Biscaya, don't forget, pitted quite recently. So they're going to be on fresher tyres. I'm not sure if Glasgow do. I think they did as well. But we'll see what happens. We've got the final third of this race. 15 minutes or so to go. We've got Vigo leading. But my question is, can they hold on? York Illuminati has gone into the pits too. We got a DNF, Giles, and it's not the team I want to see. Exeter's A team is out.
Alas, yes. I've been waiting to get a word in there, Jess. I saw it a few moments ago when I was just waiting for a convenient moment to tell you that, yes, unfortunately, according to the timing board there, Exeter's A team are a DNF. The gap is closing now. The gap is closing. It's only by a few tenths each lap, but it is closing. NCME are reining in Vigo, and Vigo will be hoping to do a Sam Fender and Olivia Dean and get away with it, but I'm not quite sure that they will, as here comes the University of I can never pronounce Ballamand.
Ballamand, yeah.
Ballamand in the pits then. We've seen them do all right, but they are a lap down currently.
But don't forget, because they turned up tonight and they're in Server 1, they're still going to get a huge chunk of points just by being in Server 1. That's what you get for turning up. And that means, yes.
Vigo, currently that gap has just reopened. It had dropped below 10 seconds. It's now, it was 9.9 seconds. It's now back up to 10.2. So it's averaging out as NCME's tyres just begin to start to rubber in, shall we say. That freshness has just gone out of them. So just keep an eye then on Leicester, because they are on fresher rubber, as are Southampton, as are Queen Mary. The top three all pitted at the same time initially. So keep an eye on that and see whether NCME have got a charge to make on Vigo, or whether their biggest problem is actually going to be defending against three of the best teams in the sim racing series. It's really shaping up to be a monumental climax to this endurance race here at Sepang. And here, meanwhile, is Biscaya. Ahead of them is Glasgow. And behind them, they've got, of course, Aberdeen. Meanwhile, there's Southampton. Southampton right in the mix of it. They actually made a huge start and got up into first. But we think they lost something. And, talking of losing something, who was that going past there? What happened there? That's two drivers ahead. That's Queen Mary and Southampton have gone ahead of, was that Vermilion? Yes. Was it Vermilion? It looked more, it was a black car. Vermilion.
Lap traffic.
Yeah,
right.
lap traffic. It's like in real endurance racing. We're getting to a point where we're seeing the leaders trying to. Yeah, the lights beginning to see that as well. I don't. What we forgot to mention is we've got a race at two halves basically. We're starting in dawn and aiming for the evening time. So this is late evening at the moment, and then we're going to get to near dusk time once we get to the second hour to simulate kind of like a 12-hour, 24-hour race.
And Vigo are in as expected, and that means NCME are your race leaders as we anticipated. 22 laps complete, 12 and a half minutes to go. Leicester on the charge, and Leicester are through. Leicester are through on NCME, and all they can, NCME are back ahead of them, and Leicester aggressively flashing their lights then. It was pointed out to us
the lap traffic
by Spook 6mm in the comments. To be fair, Leicester is quicker. NCME have just got to hang on. Can they hang on is the question. As the light begins to fade, the sun goes down, and do NCME's chances of winning this race begin to fade with the light is the question, because Leicester are only 0.4 seconds behind them. They looked, according to the timing board, like they were ahead momentarily, but when we got the camera onto them, we had Leicester behind NCME flashing their lights like nobody's business. Something's gone on here. The drama is building, and it really is all to play for here. 11 minutes of racing. Keep it here. Do not go anywhere. Go and make a cup of tea later. Just crank up the volume and relax, because this is going to be a huge race to the line then. between two titans of the sport. Meanwhile, talking of titans of Formula Student, Queen Mary and Southampton are right there with them, and they've got their own battle to contend with, because here are the two championship contenders racing it out for third place, and ahead of them the battle for the lead could all go wrong, and that could switch Queen Mary and Southampton right into the contention for the race win. This is really exciting stuff then. So 0.3 seconds, 0.2 seconds between University of Leicester and NCME. NCME on older tyres with a slower car. You've got both teams on hards there, but meanwhile Southampton and Queen Mary are on the faster mediums, but those mediums are going to go off quicker. It's really finely balanced here.
Yeah, it is. And I'm loving these guys fight. And they're going to fight once more. Leicester going to try and go through around the outside. But if I were Leicester, I wouldn't go for it just yet. Look at this. Southampton is in this too. Queen Mary, this is going to be a full four-car train for the win of this one. And the temperatures are starting to get cooler as well. Well, how's that? We're going to do it with the tyres. MCME is going to battle Leicester, and Leicester tries to go for around the outside, but MCME is going to try and cover it off. And Southampton in the bottom, you want to try and play a back seat into all this. Through goes Southampton. It's going to be tight.
Yeah,
it was close.
It was too aggressive from Southampton. They thought they would chance their luck, and they made a mistake, and they've lost their position to Queen Mary. Queen Mary took a tap on the front end there when they clashed into the back of Leicester. They nearly lost it, and that is why Southampton is right there with them. Queen Mary have got the inside line though, and they closed down Southampton, but Southampton got a bit cheeky. They got a bit overconfident, and they tried it on Leicester, and it didn't work out, and they lost a position to Queen Mary in the process. And as you were saying there, Jess, they should have taken a back seat. I completely agree. As they're squirming off the line is the University of Leicester, and that's going to invite Queen Mary and Southampton right there with them. And Queen Mary going to second place, but can Leicester get through on the inside? They clash. They clash indeed, and that forces Queen Mary off, and Leicester are back up into second place, but the stewards are going to have to investigate that one. Southampton go back through on the parrot, on them as well. This is huge stuff. Southampton now creeping through in on Leicester. They've got the inside line, but Leicester have got the switchback. They go back ahead, and they're into second place. Queen Mary side by side with Southampton. Through on the inside of Southampton go Queen Mary, and they are up ahead just by a nose. That's side by side there. Southampton retaining the position. Huge stuff there for the Sim Racing Series as Leicester pull away, and Southampton have got ahead of Queen Mary, and this is huge. This is absolutely magic racing.
Monumental.
All of the above. Monolithic and biblical, in fact. As meanwhile, NCME have just looked around and said, right, you guys can do whatever you want. Bye-bye. And that's nearly a 2-second gap there, pulled open by NCME in arguably a slower car. It just goes to show what happens when you get into a bit of a fight. You do lose time, and time is what these teams cannot afford to lose. With 8.5 minutes to go out on track in this first race, NCME are leading with Leicester in second, Southampton in third, and Queen Mary in fourth.
Watch
Pure
this
tactics.
space. Carry on, Monty.
Watch this space. I was going to say that was pure tactics from NCME Racing there. They know they've got the slower car. The only way they have a fighting chance now to stay in the lead at the end of this was to back up Leicester into Southampton and Queen Mary, and that worked perfectly
Brilliant.
for them.
I love it.
With 8 minutes to go, I think we could have a round 2 happening before this race is done.
Huge stuff then for the Formula Student Sim Racing Series, the penultimate round, live from a virtual Sepang. Full coverage here on the iMechie Formula Student YouTube channel. Do stay with us. Here's Queen Mary lining up Southampton for another move. They were ahead of them, and then some aggressive driving from Leicester saw them lose out as they were forced off. Southampton capitalised on it. I imagine the stewards are going to have a lot to deal with. And why on earth does Southampton go that wide there suddenly? They just suddenly shot off to the left of the track. Queen Mary, the door was left wide open for them, saying, I don't mind if I do, thank you, but what on earth was that from Southampton?
No idea. And there was a bit of a lockup from Southampton as well. They dropped down to 4th place, and they're just losing quite a bit of time now. They can't afford this. I mean, it must be that they might be on those medium tyres. I think if I was to bet on the win, it will have to be MCME or Leicester, because they're on the more durable tyres. They can't afford to push this hard, especially with cooler temperatures with 7 minutes to go. Don't forget, where they finish at the end of this race, that's where they're going to start in race 2. If they have some sort of contact and have damage, that could send them to near the back of the grid or DNF, and they could be starting in the back of the grid, and that's not what they want. Obviously, Queen Mary will have to start at the back of the grid anyway, because it's a one-driver entry, but for the likes of Southampton, they can't afford to fight too much on this. They just got to be smart, play smart on this, because otherwise they'll be the ones starting near the back.
Queen Mary with less to lose then than their contenders at the front of this race. The gap between Leicester and NCME has shrunk dramatically in the past 2-3 laps, and it's now down to 0.6 seconds. Queen Mary right there with them. Southampton trying to stay as close as they can without inviting trouble. Their tyres seem to be going away a little bit more than the others. We saw a lock-up and we saw them go wide suddenly for no reason that we could understand. I'm sure someone from Southampton will inform us here in the commentary box as to why that sudden off occurred. Here then is NCME leading with only 0.5 seconds between themselves and Leicester, and Queen Mary are right there in the mix. 0.3 seconds between themselves and Leicester. Queen Mary, less to lose, a one-driver entry. They will start from the back of the grid next race regardless, but they'll want all the points that they can get from this outing here as they try and close down on Leicester, who started in pole. And it's very, very interesting to see what these drivers are going to do here, because that gap has reopened now. The gap between Leicester and NCME has opened to 0.7 seconds. Are Leicester biding their time for a last lap ditch attempt? Southampton, meanwhile, they've actually closed right back in on their nearest rivals in the championship to a 0.6 second gap between Southampton and Queen Mary. We've seen these two drivers go at it throughout the evening, and I got a funny feeling they're going to go at it again before the checkered flag. Jess, what would you be doing in this situation?
Hope that you don't get put into a wall. Let's just say that. I think you can't afford to be too risky, because you're either going to be trying to go for the move and sending it, or hitting a wall, and you're going to be near the back of the grid anyway. Maybe you got to aim for consistency. The ones that win championships, in my experience, don't necessarily win every race. You don't have to win every race. As long as you're near consistently on podiums, you could potentially do well. So maybe Southampton may just need to gain one place, and that's it. But Bolton is doing a great job just to make sure that no one else is having a sniff. Bolton is playing great defensive moves here. I'll let you take this one, Giles.
Into turn one they go. NCME defending and making their car double its width in order to keep Leicester off from their backs. 0.4 seconds separating the two front runners in this race with 4 minutes to go. Queen Mary closing in on the pair of them, with Southampton waiting in the wings there. 4 drivers could take this victory, and whilst they could well just settle for the places they're currently in, you know this is a race they're going to want to win, because they've been working so hard for nearly the last hour to get to the front of this pack. And now the next 3.5 minutes are going to decide who stands on the top of the podium at the end of race 1. Leading currently NCME with 0.4 seconds between themselves and Leicester. On board currently with Queen Mary. Leicester going well wide there and off the track and inviting Queen Mary to make a move. Southampton will be hoping that they try to do so, because they could capitalise on this, as NCME have a real look down the inside, looking to make use of all of the track and then a little bit more. Sweeping to the inside go Queen Mary on Leicester, and they're a nose ahead. Leicester lock up. Can Queen Mary get through here? No, I don't think they can, because it looks like Leicester have got the line, and Southampton are right there with them in the background. Here we go then, another attempt then from Queen Mary, but they don't have it. They're side by side though, and I feel like Queen Mary could get through here if they break late. They've got the inside line, but they get closed down by Leicester, who break later, and that is Leicester well ahead and throwing Queen Mary into the hands of Southampton.
Oh my goodness, with 2 minutes to go, the race win is still wide open. Let us know in your chat. So who's it going to be? Is it going to be MCME? Is it going to be Leicester? Is it going to be Queen Mary? Or is it going to be Southampton? Answer on a postcard. I have no idea who's going to potentially win this one. I could close my eyes here, but I think we're about to start the final lap of this race, potentially, or the penultimate lap of this race. MCME, they're going to hope that no one else goes for a bold move and pulls them out of the race. And for Leicester, they got to try and play some different tactics here later on. And as it gets really dark, the braking references are going to be whole of a lot different, which means the mistakes may creep in more and more and more. This bit in particular as well is so hard to see in the dark conditions. I don't necessarily run into Sepang in these type of conditions, and it's hard enough. I remember when it was dark and raining when we did the endurance race last season, so I can't imagine how difficult that's going to be. But 1.5 laps to go potentially. I don't know is it the final lap or not. This is MCME's chance to practice what they preach. Even though they got the strategy, can they pull off the defense and win this one? And they got some lapped cars in front as well. That's going to be tricky.
Traffic on the approach to the front driver. NCME, 0.5 seconds between themselves and Leicester. An arguably slower car in the hands of NCME. But that looked to me to be Leicester going a little bit wide. That doesn't matter, though, because Queen Mary are far too busy trying to defend against Southampton, who are on the charge. They've decided enough is enough, and now is the time to make a move. And they've got the inside line to Southampton, and they are through on Daniel Solent. And that is Southampton into the lead, or into the third place, I say into the lead, potentially into the lead of this championship, but certainly into third place here at Sepang. Currently in the lead, though, is NCME, and they have done a huge job here. An absolutely gorgeous pit strategy has put them into the lead, and all they have to do now is cling on for the next 44 seconds. But I've got a funny feeling that they're going to cross the line before that timer runs out, and that's going to mean they've got to do another lap of wild defense against Leicester, who are biding their time. The gap down to nearly just a quarter of a second between the two front runners, and Leicester are looking to the inside. They're flashing their lights to let Bolton know that they are there, and they dive to the inside.
Not Bolton, Giles, MCME Racing.
And this could change the results of the race. They are side by side down the start-finish straight. But, of course, NCME have got the inside line. And through they go then. Leicester are going to try and get the switch back. But can they go around the outside is the question. No, they're going to try for the switch back. But I don't think it's going to work. And this is a great move there from NCME. Very, very well defended. And the timer has run out. This is indeed the last lap. Only this lap do NCME have to hold on in order to defend their race win, flashing their lights into the rear of the oncoming traffic. And that looks to me to be Sussex getting out the way. I think it might well be. And that is NCME through there with Leicester in tow. Queen Mary and Southampton following suit. Southampton in third, Queen Mary in fourth. Leicester, though, have got to make their move at some point before the checkered flag in the next few corners. 0.4 seconds down to 0.2. Leicester braking later as they try and coax NCME to make a mistake, and all of a sudden it looks like Leicester have backed off because Southampton are right there with them, and Leicester all of a sudden having to defend rather than attack. Southampton going incredibly wide there, maybe trying to chance their luck with a move, and it just didn't quite pay off. Leicester, I'm beginning to think, aren't going to make a move here. It looks to me to be NCME might well take it to the checkered flag unless they go for a last-minute, last-turn lunge behind the wheel of the Leicester car. It's 0.3 seconds separating the two front runners. You can see some back traffic coming on the approach there to NCME. 28 laps complete on their 29th, the final lap now for this race, a huge race of absolutely epic proportions, and they try to go around the outside. Can they switch it back? No, they can't. NCME defending with masterful driving there, and NCME are leading, and they've got one corner to go. The huge hairpin at the bottom of this course. They're on the approach. They're three in a tow, and Southampton are going to try for it. So are Leicester. NCME closing them down, and they've got the perfect line, but they lock up. They lock up in a huge way, and that's Leicester through. Leicester are through, and they're going to take it. Leicester have won this race, surely, but can Southampton get second place? No, they can't. But at the very last minute, NCME locked up and they hit the wall, and they're they're crushed. They're defeated and sad. And that was huge. That was huge.
That was amazing.
A last-minute, last-turn lunge there from Leicester spout the difference between second and first. NCME couldn't hold on any longer. They braked so hard, they locked up, and it allowed Leicester to sail on through, and that handed Leicester the victory. What a race, Jess.
What? I mean, I just couldn't stop watching. We thought MCME had it in the bag, but I think what Leicester did was just be patient, wait until the final moment to get the move done, and they did it. So, fair play to Leicester. Schaefer Bolton, Southampton came back to still finishing third on mediums. And Queen Mary, they're going to be happy with fourth, but don't forget they're going to get points deduction. But these results will now dictate the grid for the start of the second race with their second driver, if they have so. So we may see a completely different order at the end of the second race. We never know. So I can't wait. What do you think, Monty?
Not listening, Jess. Ignore me for now. I'm just trying to grab a driver for you guys to go and interview just now. My goodness, that was a fun race. Oh,
yeah, I'll let you grab the driver for interview, Monty.
I'm out of words for that one. That was so busy, and we still got another one of these races to go.
I'm buzzing.
How about
I love
that,
it.
Right? Absolutely. Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah. Wow. Just wow. That went down to the line after an hour of racing. Wow.
You know that feeling when you're nicely buzzed after a few beverages? I've currently got that, and I'm completely sober. That was huge. I don't understand how an endurance race can yield so much fantastic driving, and the strategies across the board were brilliant. And NCME, just a masterclass in pit strategy. Leicester, a masterclass in driving and patience and just everything. I do wonder how much these results are going to be affected by stewards' inquiries, because there was some elbows out at some points during the race. So that might not be how things stand when we talk to you next, or the results that get published on social media. So do stay with that, because it could well change things. That was impeccable. Leicester are going mad in the chat. They're over the moon. Amelia saying, "Oh my days, that was crazy. Hope we did you proud, Monty. Well done, UOL, and commiserations to NCME," says Dan Jones. Meanwhile, Spook 6mm says, "Wow," and Enweir says, "That was so good, but damn that lockup." Yes, that lockup was all that spelt the difference between NCME in first and NCME finishing in second. It really did come down to that. It was absolutely huge. Right now, though, we're going to cut to a behind the scenes then for Williams. Thank you very much.
Sorry, Giles.
No, it's fine.
We're behind
Sorry.
schedule. Okay, Jess, have you got the link to give to?
Well, I can't remember
Hazelwood?
where the link is. Because I didn't use it last time, did I?
Hold on. Oh, that's right. It wasn't you last time.
I was doing Giles's job last time for race one.
Yes, you were. No worries. Hang on. Give me a second.
Oh, I think I
I'll send
found it. Is it
there.
just? Is it the one that says driver? Yeah, I got it. I
Driver
think.
one?
Yeah, I got it.
Perfect.
I got it. Right.
Perfect.
So who is it? Who is it? I can't remember the driver code.
That was Hazelwood, number 11.
Hazelwood number 11. Right. I'm in.
That's right. Yes.
Bathroom break, right back.
Good.
Wow.
So I'm doing, I was in a bad mood today. This has cheered me up.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. That was a heck of a.
Right. How
Heck of a
am
race.
I meant to search? Bloody hell! Oh, come on. Oh, right. I can't bloody... there we go. Hey. 11. Hey. Oh. There we go. Oop. No, I want to DM. I don't want to go to his message. Oh, God's sake. Message. I think I'm already friends with him. I do. GG.
Oh, nice.
No, as in friends on Discord.
Gotcha.
So we join the.
Right. It's all good.
There we go. I've sent him the link.
Thank you, Jess. Now, Giles didn't tell you before because he only turned up last minute. We want him to do this interview and you do the last one because he's got to disappear at 9 o'clock sharp. So he might have to disappear and we close up the stream if that's okay.
Yeah, no worries. I was hoping to go a bit earlier as well, but yeah, I could stay. It's fine.
You sure?
Yeah, sure. Because I was gonna go to bed early and get some sleep for tomorrow, but it's all right. I'll stay.
All right. Okay. Awesome. All right. Copy that. Right. Where is he? There he is. He's in the interview room.
Yeah. I told him to go in the rating room, Monty.
Yeah. That's good. Thank you, Jess. Just dragging him in with us now.
Oh, it's called interview room. Never mind. Congratulations!
What an amazing race. Absolutely first class.
That was amazing. Right, Monty said you're doing the first interview, Giles. You actually have to go at 9.
I don't necessarily go at 9. I've just got to let someone in through a door, and that might interrupt things. So yes, I'll do the first interview.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right, that's fine.
And it gives me a bit of a break.
That works then. Nice. Right, we've got about 60 seconds left of the VT. And then we are onto the interview. So Giles, just for when you go back there, just to say to them, so that's where the drivers are going to be going for the finals, blah, blah, blah. We'll talk more about that in the FS News or something like that,
sure.
yeah?
Okay.
This was the
Am I
best
not-
race I've ever commentated on an FS. I think me and Giles just
absolutely.
was flowing quite well, and there was just so much action. It was crazy.
It's huge.
Oh, it was huge.
Absolutely huge.
Oh, I loved it.
Am
I
a
can't
little
wait
bit
for the
further
second
up
one
the
now.
train than I was last time.
Can I just clarify?
You are.
I can't call you Hazelwood because that's not your first. What's your first name again?
Nathan.
Nathan. Sorry, mate.
Oh, I know
I'm
a lot of Nathan in the sim racing world.
you'll have
It's
to
a
excuse me,
popular name.
I'm currently running on fumes.
Oh, we haven't got long left, Giles. We're about to go.
Let me know.
15 seconds.
Standing by.
15 seconds. And here we go. 3. As soon as it goes black and you see you guys move to the right, we're live again.
Okay.
Well, that looks good, doesn't it? That looks absolutely fantastic. And if you like the look of that, then make sure you tune in for the sim racing final because we're going to be there in person again, broadcasting live. And last year, I must say, we had a fantastic position in the commentary box where we had the viewers area right behind us. So we got the live reactions from everybody, which was just impeccable. And if you want to be part of that, then make sure you're tuned in for the final the same week as Formula Student. More on that in the Formula Student news right now. As we always do, we have the winner of that race, Nathan.
Yeah.
What on earth did I just watch? That was just... I mean, I've seen less drama in Downton Abbey.
Somehow the most frustrating race I've probably ever done.
Oh.
The most frustrating race.
I couldn't quite get the tires to work everywhere I wanted to, but and I just kept making mistakes.
Let's talk. Loving the bucket hat, by the way. Jess has just commented that, saying she loves the bucket hat. Can I just go through this then? Because we saw you running the hards and some of the other teams quite close to you, Queen Mary and Southampton, running mediums. What was the thought process behind running the hards, and why are you frustrated by those tires?
I mean, up until yesterday, I was going to run the mediums.
Right. Okay. So a last minute change then.
Yeah, I did a few sort of stints on the hards and the mediums and realized that the difference in pace was almost equal.
Okay.
So in the end, I just preferred the hards because they didn't go off quite as quickly as the mediums would. Because in the mediums, when you hit the cliff, you'd go through one corner perfectly fine, and then the next one, you'd have nothing at all on the rear. So I basically picked the hards because I wanted to not have to deal with that. And it wasn't actually any slower.
Right. And then, so your frustration with the tires stems from just an inability to get them to find a groove.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, they worked well sometimes. I did do a couple of really quick laps, but most laps I'd just turn in a little bit too early to somewhere or lock up on the way into a corner, and it's like I couldn't get into a proper rhythm for the whole time.
We did see that the gap between yourselves and NCME was fluctuating throughout the race. Some minutes it would drop to 0.3 seconds, then it would suddenly be back up to 0.4 seconds. I imagine as a result of that, you also had to contend towards the end of that race with both Queen Mary and Southampton, who were on the charge. Elbows were out throughout the course. Your thoughts on that?
I mean, thing is, I knew I was quicker than Bolton because they pitted a lap before me. So my tyres were better and I was catching them. So I was a little bit... In the moment, it's a bit annoying when you're catching the person in front of you and the people behind you start trying to overtake you, because then all you do is drop off from the leader who gets to run away when he has the worst tyres of the four of us.
We may have said that in the box.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's why I fought Queen Mary so hard, because in my head it was like, if I let them get past me, I'm not winning.
And to be honest with you, we were wondering whether you were going to get the win, because NCME defended like an absolute trooper, in all fairness to them, and it really did come down to that last corner. What was going through your mind through that final hairpin?
I mean, I noticed that a lot of people were locking up really often into the like heavy braking zones. I also realized that I was braking a lot earlier than most people into those, so maybe I'm doing something wrong. But yeah, I had an inkling that he might do that. It would make sense, you know, you're defending for the win with 3 people behind you on the final corner and your tires are dead. I'd probably have done the same, to be fair.
I can imagine the frustration in the NCME camp, but it was an absolutely monumental race, and you both deserve to win. But unfortunately, there can only be one winner in this instance, and it was you. And a huge congratulations to you, because I know your team is going mad. Amelia, especially, I can imagine, will be jumping for joy at these results, and the bucket hats will be flying into the air. I really appreciate your time, Nathan, and a huge congratulations on the win. I'd love to talk about Leicester's car going into FS, but we just do not have time. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you at Williams and at Silverstone.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to going and seeing you lot.
Be good to see you again. Thank you ever so much for your time.
Thanks, Nathan.
Well done, Nathan.
Love
Nathan
it.
Nathan from Leicester, fantastic stuff. You race winners in the first race tonight of the Formula Student Sim Racing Series. Thank you very much to him for joining us in the virtual commentary box. Plenty more to get into, because it is now time for the Formula Student News.
Hooray, hooray, hooray.
And do you know what?
No.
Oh no, wait.
Oh, no.
You haven't got the plug. You haven't got the FSO
I was
plug,
going to say,
Monty.
have you not got the one time I remember to do it? The one time I remember to do it, and you
to
haven't
do it,
got
and I forgot to load the
Right.
video into the system, and people knew who this video was coming from. Oh dear, Monty! I'll make sure we get that before
had the
we are done
setup.
tonight.
I had the setup there ready to go, because I keep forgetting it every week, every month, and I thought this month I'm going to get it right. This month I'm going to remember to throw to that
Monty
BT.
has forgotten.
It is a wonderful video. Sorry, it's a wonderful evening of everything just going wrong, isn't it? So
Absolutely.
I tell
Those
you
are the
what.
best evenings. I mean, hey, at least we're not walking off set like Gemma Collins last night. Anyway, more to the point. I should say that the GC here at the Sim Racing has plenty to tell you about, because the big cheeses over at the IMECI want us to give you plenty of updates ahead of July and what's going on at Formula Student. So we're going to go through those. Are we good to go through those, Monty?
Yes, that sounds like a great idea. Bear with me just a second so I can get the
Just checking.
screen.
Just checking.
Just checking. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. We're doing well tonight, aren't we? This is the FS News. Monty screwed up. Right. Okay.
Tonight's on Formula Student. Monty has got a towel. Giles forgot that Sepang was in Malaysia, and yeah.
Someone told
Brilliant.
someone was in my ear saying Spain. I promise you that. Anyway, we're going to
That
kick
was
off.
me. That was me correcting you, because UCLM is not an Italian university.
That was
Yes,
it.
that's what that was about.
Right. IMECI News.
here we are.
Giles, hit it.
Here we go. Right, we've got the FS 2026 MathWorks Modeling and Simulation Award. It's brand new for 2026, and it's designed to recognize and reward teams that excel in utilizing MathWorks tools for the design of their electric combustion and autonomous vehicles in the Formula Student UK 2026 competition. The deadline to enter is the 18th of June. I shall say that one more time for you. The 18th of June is the deadline, and you are going to want to enter. Why, Giles? Well, because if you get third place, you will receive £350. If you get second place, you will receive £650. Thank you. And if you get first place, you will get not £900, not £950. You'll get a whole grand, £1,000.
Woohoo!
That is
very much.
impressive.
Information
go.
is available on the FS website, and you can see it all there. Monty is showing it to you on your screens right now. So
Also
there
putting
it
a
is.
link in the chat. Also putting a link in the chat for everyone so you can access it that way.
Right, don't say we haven't warned you. It's there, and there's £1,000 up for grabs. I mean, I've been spending most of my PhD coding in MATLAB. I'd love to be able to enter this, but equally, I don't qualify. I'd love £1,000, I'll be completely honest with you. MathWorks, if you're listening, my bank account's open. Anyway, more to the point, we've got another exciting thing from one of our sponsors. I actually really like this. I've heard about this in the last couple of weeks, and I think this is really worthwhile, a fantastic initiative to take to Silverstone. I'm going to tell you about it now. If Monty can just get it onto the screen for you in just a moment. Are we ready for that one? This one, Monty? Here we are.
Keep
then.
reading.
I think this is great. The RS Equipment Survey for Formula Student teams. So RS is one of the main sponsors of Formula Student, supply engineering components across industry very, very quickly. They can do next day deliveries. Everyone orders from RS. They want to know what Formula Student teams need the most and how they can support teams. Now get this, it's with a view to building a tool loan library at at their paddock stand this year. I love that because you've been there and you've lost your 13mm spanner and you can't find one. And it's all well and good questing up and down the paddock trying to find someone you can borrow one off for 5 minutes. But equally, it'd be really nice if there was just a one-stop shop, a library, so to speak, of tools that you can borrow from a reputable source. RS, it's perfect. I love that. All you need to do is spend a few minutes and let them know what you'll need at Silverstone to get your car on track. I really would love it if someone could just comment on that survey, a car. That would be really funny to me. But anyway, the link is on the FS website. And again, the link will also be posted in the chat. Do please fill out this survey because I think it's a really worthwhile initiative and it's a great thing for RS to do. I really appreciate that. Are we ready now to talk about cost of manufacturing, Monty?
Yes, we are.
Here we are then. The FS 2026 Cost of Manufacturing Concept Class Real World Task has been unveiled. This is for concept class teams at Silverstone. Your cost lead tasks you and the team to come up with a plan to reduce your bill of material, BOM, cost spend by 10% and request you to achieve this without sacrificing your ultimate project goals. You will have 10 to 15 minutes to present to the judges at your cost of manufacturing judging slot. Full details with considerations for your answers are available on the FS website.
Link provided in the chat.
It's almost like we planned it, or at least most of it, not all of it.
Well, at least planned that bit correctly.
Hey, look, some of it's been planned.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the main FS news. That's the main updates from iMechE. A lot of good and exciting stuff there, guys. So yes, all the links in the chat. Make sure you've done that by the stated deadlines as well. It's creeping up fast, isn't it? I can't believe it's May next week.
Where has that time gone? Where has that time gone?
And it's bank holiday soon.
Jess, I just need a straight up holiday. I'll tell you, I really do. So those are all the updates from the big cheeses at the iMechE. So we've given you all the updates we possibly can, and just keep your eyes out on the social media because although we do this once a month, the updates are regularly put there on the FS Instagram. So make sure you're there for that one. Meanwhile, more Formula student news in the form of Bolton. They've done us a meet the team. Shall we meet them?
Yes.
Let's meet them.
I'm Luke and I'm the head of composites for NVIDIA Racing. I joined Formula Student.
We're on mute for this.
When I came here, and I thought
That gives me a chance then to open up. We're not doing Coventry, by the way, Giles.
Noted. Thank you.
I don't really watch too many, so I'll probably just go with the first.
We're not going to have
Between you and I.
time.
Apart from the FSO VT, this has actually been going really well.
I
I'm
know, it
enjoying
is
this.
going
I
can't
honestly,
believe
I
I've
felt more
locked-
comfortable in the box tonight. I don't know
Good.
why. I'm probably used to commentating on these long races, so it's right in my brain.
You can settle in as well. Right, there we are. All done.
Yeah.
Thank you ever so much to NCME, and we've got a bit more from them because NCME don't just stay in. Okay, do we call? Okay, look, I've said NCME. Am I at least allowed to say that they're placed in Bolton? Based in Bolton? Are we allowed to say that? Because the thing
We
is,
can
they
say
don't-
that they're located in Bolton, yeah, but I
then-
mean, they are officially the University of Greater Manchester now.
Well, they're based in Greater Manchester, but that doesn't mean they have to stay in Greater Manchester because they've gone on a tour. We've got
yes.
NCME on tour. They've gone on a tour of the ProDry factory. Look at this. They've sent us some
Wow.
wonderful
It's
images
not-
here.
That's not the only place they've been to either, because I mean, look, it gets better. They've been to Ginetta. They've been to Ginetta's factory as well, so they went and had a massive geek out there. And then this I saw on LinkedIn. They've been to Gordon Murray's automotive centre as well.
Yo.
So Gordon Murray, one of the most renowned designers of the 70s and 80s, with Brabham in particular. Now, of course, McLaren, the F1 car in the 90s. Yeah, invited them all in, and there's Gordon Murray right there having a chat with all the NCME people, talking about all the wonderful things which he still designs. A man who's nearly 80 and still makes things which look like well, they fit in quite nicely into Star Trek. Frankly, it is futuristic. I love it. Where else have they been? They've been to see some Classica baths. This is all in the last month, by the way.
Oh my
Images.
goodness!
Yeah, I know they've got
They
some
get out
classic
more than I
cars.
do. I mean, it's not hard,
I
but
know.
equally.
It's mad.
They
I
touch
mean, look at
grass.
I know. I mean,
Which
look
is
at all this stuff. Oh, it's
I tell you where they
beautiful.
want to go is Taunton Motor Museum. They'd have a great time there. Richard Hammond opened it a couple of years ago. They'd really enjoy that, I should imagine, if they like classic cars.
And Bewley. Have any of you been
Oh,
to
yes.
Bewley? It's absolutely fantastic. They should go there as well.
Bewley's definitely worth it, but no, I mean, fantastic NCME. That's we're very jealous. thank you so much for sending all those pictures in. I mean, what was your favourite car there, guys?
Too many of them.
I'm rather partial to the old A-Baths. I like that because it's an interesting company and they did interesting things with cars. And I like that because, you know, a car can just be a car or you can do something exciting, but it's still a standard car. And that's what A-Bath do. And I like that.
Yes, I fully agree with you on that. Right, moving on. Appreciate we've only got 3 minutes
Yes,
till we
that's
need to move
fine.
the stream on again. So
What
we
is
have
this
had a
you've got
submission.
now? Yeah.
We've had a submission of Cardiff testing their launch control system.
Ooh.
I wasn't even aware that this had been submitted.
Ah, yes, this is a surprise, you see. So have a look at this,
We wanted to
guys.
surprise you.
Yeah, I think this is a really good launch control system. Ready for this one, guys?
Absolutely.
Yes, roll BT.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
I've been stitched right up there.
Rick rolled.
So that was Giles attempting to drive an FS car a couple of years ago, and he forgot to let go of the brake when releasing the clutch, and he accidentally did a burnout in a Formula Student car instead. However,
Speaking of
jokes aside,
Giles,
Giles has actually been doing some good stuff of late. Now, what's this post all about, sir?
Right, this
Explain.
post is about the Student Radio Chart Show. So for those that follow me on social media, you'll know I also present on Express Radio, which is the student radio station associated with Cardiff University. And around the UK, there's a bunch of student radio stations. So they're on what's called the Student Radio Network. Every week, a different station gets the chance to host the Student Radio Chart Show. It's our turn to host it on the 3rd of May. So that's Sunday next week. And I was hoping that if you've got time spare on Sunday the 3rd of May between 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock, I really appreciate it if you could tune in. We need as many listeners as we possibly can. We're celebrating 30 years of Express Radio, hence why you've got that slight Britpop theme going on in that image there. Celebrating 30 years of Express, established in 1996. We've got huge guests joining us on the show. 2 icons of the 90s, one from a band that featured on the soundtrack to Scream, and one not quite yet confirmed, but if it does happen, one of the voices of music in 1996 will be joining us on the show. Plus, we're counting down the top 20 of student radio. So it's tomorrow's top 20 today, and you can get in touch. It's interactive. We want you to rate the music that we're playing. If it's rubbish, let us know. If you love it, let us know. Just get involved. 2 hours next Sunday. It'll be a lot of fun.
How exciting. Fair play,
oh,
Giles.
I'll be tuning in.
Definitely be tuning in. We recommend you guys do as well. He's a good radio DJ host as well, believe it or not. It's not just commentating he does.
Well, thank you very much. Talking of very good things that people in the commentary box do, shall we have a look at this?
Monty!
Yeah, so last thing, so you guys have heard me rabbiting on about it in the last few rounds, so ta-da, here you are, here's a picture. That was the charity kart race, which I was talking about. Racing awareness in aid of ADHD UK. There I'm at the front with Josh Hill, son of Damon. He did turn up as well, by the way, really nice guy. And in the middle there is Lauren, known as the ADHD Queen. She is a charity representative for ADHD UK. And behind us are our merry drivers, 25 teams in the end that turned up. You may recognise those bucket hats. You may recognise those bucket hats.
And that top hat.
Yeah, there we are. There's Hugo Walls.
Top Hat Tyler was there. Love it.
Top Hat Tyler was there as well. That's Amelia there, by the way. So she also got into a kart. So
where did they finish? Where did Leicester finish?
They came 7th in one class. I can't remember where they came in the other one. There's Top Hat Tyler there, wee muggins. And we also had Cambridge take part. They actually won. There they are in the green suit. So Cambridge also put in an entry as well. So thank you very much for joining us, guys.
And then we got Monty.
And actually, it was won by these guys down the bottom corner here. This young lady, Lily Mae Watkins, is a GB4 driver. So one to watch out in the future for sure. She absolutely spanked us all thoroughly. Won it by such a huge margin. So definitely a talent to watch in the future there. Great variety of talent. And yeah, we raised £2,500 for ADHD in UK. So, yeah, it was a great day with, there they are, all with their trophies. And
we got Silverstone coming up in August, which I'm excited about. I'm going to be there.
There's the trophies. Oh, thank you, Jess. There they are waiting. And, yep, there's some pictures of them all. Oh, there's Top Hat Tyler with his helmet.
He's tryharding.
And there's someone looking very surprised to see someone on top of his helmet screaming at him. But, there you are. So, yes,
hey,
it was a really good day of racing.
Have we got photos with a certain celebrity that turned up? Or are we just keeping that on the down low?
Alas, Damon did not take any photos. He was there to support Josh, and we fully respect he was there in a fatherhood capacity.
Fair shout.
Oh, the fair
day.
shout. Good
But-
old Damon.
And Josh's brother Ollie also turned up as
Oh,
well.
sick.
Wonderful, wonderful person, wonderful family, have to say, and a huge thank you to the Hills for giving up their time for joining in. It really was a good day of racing and a lot of chocolate because it was Easter Saturday. Of
Yum.
course, you know.
Meanwhile, I
yes.
think Dan Jones has made the best suggestion so far of what RS could bring to Silverstone. A massive box of 10mm sockets. I would agree with that. I'd agree with that.
I agree. I agree with that as well. I
Interesting.
agree with that too. I think we're about to get going with the second race, and we're going
Until
to warm
lights
up.
go out, do me a favour, throughout the rest of the coverage tonight, whilst we're racing, just comment the most random or silly thing that you can think with an engineering formula student bent that RS could bring to Silverstone to make us giggle. Please do. I'd love to know.
Please, this would be fantastic. We'll read them out during the event. See if we can get them shortlisted and get RS to let us know what the best ones they had.
Lubricant. Just, you know, you need it, but equally, it is funny.
And also suggestions for FS merch as well. They're looking for that. So if you got any suggestions for FS merch, make sure you check out the FS socials.
I know exactly what I want on FS merch. I want Monty's face on a t-shirt, and on the back it says "Hold my ravioli." That's exactly what I want.
And I want a t-shirt saying "There's only one Adam Chancel."
Genuinely though, if anybody from the iMechie is listening to this, Monty on your chest, hold my ravioli on the back. Make it happen, please. Meanwhile, then, 1 minute 42 until we're going racing for the second time tonight in Malaysia, a virtual Malaysia, and we're going to see Leicester on the front row, and that's not gone well for Glasgow, has it?
At least it's only practice.
Fingers crossed it's not a sign of things to come for the Glaswegians. Meanwhile, we will have Leicester on pole, and then in second place will be NCME. And you can rest assured that those two will be duking it out from the word go yet again. Queen Mary and Southampton, well, I say Queen Mary. Queen Mary will be at the back, but you can rest assured that they'll be right there back at the front within a few laps.
Yes.
It is Daniel Solon after all. Getting a bit tipsy there. That's an interesting line through there. Very wayward. That's wallowing like Mr. Blobby through that corner there with Glasgow. As Vigo are out on track as well, so is Southampton on their outlap. Leicester amongst us. Looking good there in the dark, are Glasgow. But as you were saying earlier on, Jess, the dark and the lack will change the break points and the break references for these teams. I'll be interested to see what it does to proceedings. Your predictions then, please, Jess and Monty. Also, why I want a Stavanger shirt, says Miss Mayor Pumpkin. Okay, cool. At the University of Stavanger. They are there. Yes, they will be there.
Yeah. I think did they finish endurance? They just about finished endurance, didn't they?
Off the top of my head, I know Vermilion are going to be there. I know Bizkaya are going to be there. I know that ECU from Australia are going to be there.
Edith Carroll. Oh, I love them.
Yeah,
By the way,
there's a
universities, I had a new phone recently in January, and my phone case looks empty. I want you to bring as many stickers of your university teams as possible so I could put it on my phone. So please do that. That'll be amazing. I just had Vermilions last time, and I want theirs again, but I want more than just Vermilions. So any universities watching that are going to Silverstone in July, make sure you bring some stickers so I can put it on my phone. Thank you.
Miss Mayor Pumpkin says, wallowing like Mr. Blobby, leave that monstrosity in the 90s. I mean, I can't help but agree that, I will be honest with you. Mr. Blobby, what on earth were you lot thinking in the 90s? A very strange concoction there. I would also like to say, I've actually made a bet with Cardiff, and I'm going to go public with this so that I have to be held to it. Because Cardiff are making the transition to electric vehicle for the first time this year, and it's never easy, and most teams take a couple of years to do it. They're being ambitious and trying to get it done in 12 months. We'll see whether that happens at Silverstone, but I've said to the team, I'm going to say this publicly, because they've actually found the item of clothing in question for me to wear. If they get through scrutineering and run 10 meters in any dynamic event, whether that's sprint, skid pad, endurance, or acceleration, if they run 10 meters of whatever course they're racing on, I will spend the rest of the weekend, whenever this occurs, commentating in a Welsh... What's the word I'm looking for? I've lost my train of thought. That's gone well.
Accent.
No, not a Welsh accent. I wish I could.
A Welsh top.
No. What's the thing from Scotland? I'm half Scottish. I should know this. Kilt. They're going to combine Scotland and Wales into one for me, and it's going to be a Welsh-themed kilt. and I shall wear that in the commentary box for the rest of the time if Cardiff can do 10 meters of any dynamic event.
And
didn't even know.
I will take a photo and I will send it to Chris to put on the FS socials.
I didn't even know that Wales had kilts. Can we call it a wilt?
Yeah, we could call it a wilt. I could quite it'd be up to if you're Welsh or you're Scottish and you're listening to this, can we call it a wilt, or is that cultural misappropriation? Equally, also do please comment, should I wear it full Scots? I'm not going to explain what that means. If you know, you know.
You know,
should I wear that
yes.
kilt full Scots? I am half Glaswegian myself. Anyway, moments away then from race 2. The sun beginning to reappear then by the looks of things. We've already
I'm
gone
on
through
8th
the
Welsh, by
darkness.
the way. I found out the other day that I was an 8th Welsh, so there you go.
The more you know, Jess, the more you know. Meanwhile then, predictions for this next race. Let's have them. Jess.
Oh, I'm gonna stick with my guns. I know Leicester had it in them, but MCME got the strategy. I'm gonna go with MCME.
I can understand that. I really can. Monty, have you got time for a quick prediction?
Yeah, I would probably say... I'm probably going to say the same. This should be NCME's now to win this time. They had some really good strategies there. Unfortunate last corner. I would love to see Solon, though. Queen Mary, last to first. They so nearly did it. They weren't far away. They were only a second away from achieving that. So
Oh, yeah,
I'd love
they
to see
were,
them
weren't
achieve
they?
that.
I'll be interested to see what Vigo can do here, whether they alter their strategy or whether they stick with it and hope that it does better this time than it did the first time. We'll see.
I've just realised another team who are missing.
Hit me.
Who?
Delft.
Yes!
Oh, yes! Where's
Where
them?
are our Dutch giants? Where are you guys tonight?
More to the point, should we be admitting that we've only just spotted that, or should we just let that slide down the left side?
Nope, we are admitting that one now. We're so sorry, guys. There was so much going on. I was going, there's definitely someone here we haven't spoken about yet.
They did pre-qualify.
Ah, that would be why then. That would be why then.
I'm just looking at the list. If any, Hertfordshire isn't here obviously either.
Meanwhile, no shiny Arapramite says, rooting for you, Mahiz Hussein. And Miss Maya Pumpkin says, take inspiration from Top Hat Tyler's helmet and wear a pair of undies with Monty's face under the kilt instead.
Yes!
I will be honest with you, I'm not quite certain I want Monty that close to my crown jewels, but you know.
Thank you, sister, for the suggestion. I think it's time for you to have your next Coca-Cola.
I could do with a Monster if I'm being honest with you, or a Red Bull, or another energy drink.
Do you want
Here's
me
the
to go
lineup
through the
then.
grid?
Yes, please, Jess.
Here we go. We've got Leicester, who won the last race. They're going to be starting on pole with MCME in second place. They're looking to fight back after them losing on the last lap. We've got Southampton in third, Vigo in fourth, De Montfort in fifth, York A in sixth. We've got Glasgow's A team in seventh. We've got Vermilion in eighth. They had a very good race in race one, so we'll see what happens there. Aberdeen in ninth, Biscaya in 10th, Strathclyde A in 11th, Islamic Technology University in 12th. We've got MTU in 13th. We've got Exeter's A team in 14th. We've got the Turkish University of Seluk in 15th. We've got Balmont in 16th. We've got Kingston in 17th. Oakland College in 18th. Sorry, I'm going fast, Monty, because I know the race is about to start soon. We've got Sussex in 19th. I got this right this time. Hat Giles. We got Hertfordshire's B team in 20th, Hull Alumni in 21st. I've also realised that Hull's A team is not here either. We got Exeter's B team in 22nd, York Alumni 23rd, UCLM 24th, and as we alluded to earlier, because since Queen Mary is a one driver entry, they're going to be starting at the back, and Monty's going to think that they're going to go from last to first. There we go.
I said hope.
We're done.
Hope.
We
Hope,
hope.
Jess, not think. Hope.
I got a funny feeling they will, but I'm going to keep my thoughts to myself because we all know what the commentator's curse can do. Anyway,
Exactly.
Leicester on the front row in pole position, NCME alongside them. I must say Leicester have got the better line into turn one, but then it immediately rotates through 180 degrees into turn two. And as a result, that could mean that NCME are within a chance of taking the lead. But equally, as you can see on your screens there, Southampton, we saw them have an absolutely rocketing start off the line in the opening race tonight. Can they do it again is the question.
The one thing they've got starting from third, it's a long drag down to the first turn, and that's exactly what they did. They got a good start and then got a toe off Leicester and NTME heading into turn one, hence why they could get the lead. So, some ways, being third on the grid here is an advantage.
I'd love to be able to tell what tie. I'd love to be able to tell what tyres the teams are on, but unfortunately, it won't let me until the race actually starts. So we're going to keep you posted on the tyre strategy shortly. I've got a funny feeling you're going to see Southampton and Queen Mary on the mediums again. And I'm interested to see whether Leicester switch it up, whether they switch to hards or mediums. I suspect NCME will stick with their previous strategy and stick it on the hards.
I think Vigo mediums. I think Vigo mediums for this one. And, oh, look at this! Is it a clown livery or is it to say? Oh no, it's Jay. I thought we were gonna get a clown livery. Boo!
Yeah, that's what I was hoping. Hey, I'm all right with seeing JJ racing pink. You know.
Yeah.
It looks good in the half-light.
Support the pink.
Moments away then from going racing for the second time this evening. As ever, please do comment. Where are you watching from? Who are you supporting? Here at Sepang for another hour of racing in these Maseratis. We've seen one of the most exciting races in Formula Student Sim racing history previously in the last hour. The next hour could be much the same. Do stay with us then. I can guarantee you it's more interesting than a bunch of has-beens arguing on ITV. Here come the lights then. One light up.
Go.
Here come the revs. They're building towards all-out action for the next hour here at the Formula Student Sim Racing Series, live with Giles, Jess, and Monty. Here come the revs. Here come the lights. And away they go, and Southampton make a break for it yet again, and they go round Leicester as though Leicester was a grandmother going for a Sunday drive. Meanwhile, they are already on the inside then of NCME, and Southampton belt it up into the lead, leaving Leicester gawking in their wake.
Leicester
have had an absolute disaster. They really have. They are well down. They're down into 8th position. They started in the lead. This is an absolute disaster for Leicester off the line then, as all the teams go wheel to wheel. It's a swarm of bees, Jess. And here, talking of swarming bees, is Queen Mary and Bright Orange going through on your positive Leicester. What an absolutely huge start. A magnificent start for Queen Mary. A start that does leave me thinking, is that a good start or is it a jump start? I've got a question. I'm not saying anything. It's a question.
I hope it's not a jump start, Giles, because or it might be people that did get a good start off the line. We don't know. But one other driver that's had a good start is a team from De Montfort. They're in third place. They avoid all the carnage. And they're chasing down MCME Racing as well. The question is, we got the tyre strategy now, but whilst we talk about that, Vigo trying to get a move on De Montfort as well. A little bit of a love tap, and we got De Montfort trying to get a switchback of dreams here. It's like taking candy away from a baby, but Vigo's going to be like, no, thank you. I'm not going to be the one I'm not going to be the one that has 4th place in that. And we've got Queen Mary up another position past Leicester. Leicester is struggling. Leicester on those mediums, so is Queen Mary, as all of us predicted they were going to be on. MCME on the medium, so is Vigo. Southampton on the mediums as well. The only ones on the hards are De Montfort, York A, and Exeter is up into 6th place. They've had a cracking start as MTU's up into 8th. There's a lot of position gained all of a sudden. I wonder if a lot of drivers have not had there's a spinner. Who was that? That's Kingston.
That's Kingston
and
taking out
Hertfordshire's B team. Monty won't be happy.
Hertfordshire's B team taken out by Kingston there by the looks of things. Interestingly, of all the starters and all those that we saw right at the front of the race previously, last time out, the only team to change their pit strategy is NCME. They have switched on to the mediums, and they've gone for a different strategy in this second race, I think. I think they were on the hards last time out. And as a result, this could be really rather interesting to see what happens then with NCME. Meanwhile, here's Vigo in third, De Montfort trying to get through on them. There's Leicester under pressure from MTU. What on earth has gone wrong for Leicester? They were very, very slow off the line. Southampton having to pull around them off the line as the lights went out. and they are now down in 8th position with Munster troubling them. And I do wonder what on earth has happened to our previous race winners. Meanwhile, here is Bizkaya and Vermilion going wheel to wheel, duking it out. Bizkaya looking to the inside here on Vermilion, but thinking better of it, and Vermilion managed to hold on to 12th place. Bizkaya in 13th. Queen Mary go through on Exodus 18. Exodus 18 were a DNF last time out. They're going to be hoping to actually get some points on the board in this second race. You can see them there on your screens, or at least you can see their shadow. The light will improve, and you'll be able to see that gorgeous British Racing green with hints of gold there. Meanwhile, you can also see York's 18 coming through past there. York's A team in 6th. Queen Mary have gone through on them as well. York A, though, saying, no, thank you, I'll have the place back if you don't mind. And they close them back down. That's Queen Mary having to try and get the switch back, going through on the inside there. And they're going into the left-hander now. And that's York have been relegated down into 6th position. And Queen Mary make sure they stay there definitively and pull away in the process, closing in on Queen Mary. De Montfort are now. Queen Mary are closing in on De Montfort. With University of Leicester overtaken by both Glasgow and Munster in the process, with Aberdeen going through on them or trying to go through on them as well. Leicester being absolutely swamped, Jess. A real turnaround in fortunes for our previous race winners.
And there's one team that's looking very consistent is MCME Racing. Meanwhile, we've got Exeter A and York A fighting for it. We've got Vigo fighting for it as well. There are loads of people fighting it. Aberdeen's almost had a bit of an op with their second driver. I'm so used to a Scottish racing race 2, but he was racing race 1. So there we go. I'm a bit shocked, to be honest, but at least they're not having a one-driver entry, which is good news, and they're having a decent running of form as of at the moment with 55 minutes to go. York and Luminai are making good way on the hard tyres, and bearing in mind, they would have seen what was going on in race 1. They could think really well about their strategies now. Can they split it up with 2020, or will they do something else? Well, some people have got to think better on their feet. Leicester being one of them. Vermilion's dropped down quite a few places down to 13th. They're not having the best of times already. They had a good race in race 1 and race 2. Not doing as well. And someone's had enough in the background. That's Aberdeen, I think. And York A has had enough too. No, not York A. What am I on about? York's alumni team has had enough too. And they're for a reason. Joking. But they dropped down into 20th place.
Let's go through this though, Jess, because I've spotted something and I've got a conclusion to make, and I know that Amelia is going to throw her bucket hat at me. I don't think Leicester are in this anymore. I think Leicester are out of contention for this race win. So as a result, the top 4 are ones to watch. We've got Queen Mary, Vigo, NCME, and Southampton. Now, Southampton, we know, can lap quickly. They were leading the opening parts of the first race this evening. So they're back into the exact same position they were again. But we've also seen them make mistakes during the forthcoming 54 minutes. And as a result, I wouldn't count NCME out in the slightest. In fact, we know they've got a keen team of strategists on their ear, over their shoulder, telling them exactly what to do, and it nearly paid off last time out. They've switched up their pit strategy and put their team on mediums this time. I've got a funny feeling. And meanwhile, there is Hertfordshire's B team well into the grass. An absolute disaster for Hertfordshire's B team, sending them well down the running order, as is Vermilion. They are well down into 19th, an uncharacteristic 19th for the Dutch. Not good for them. Meanwhile, Danish, thank you.
Meanwhile, Giles.
Dutch, Danish, it's all points on a map. Meanwhile, back to what I was saying. NCME, I reckon, could well be in with a shout here, as you were saying at the start of this race, Jess. I really do. I think Southampton have really got it. 3 wide indeed, through into turn 1. Go Sussex, Aberdeen. No, who is that? Sussex.
Yeah, it is Sussex. You got it right first time, Giles.
Thank goodness for that, finally. Sussex, I got you right. I didn't call you Surrey. Do I get a medal? No. Sussex then, duking it out with UCLM, and is that IUT as well? Yes, they are indeed. IUT in 16th, UCLM in 17th, and in 18th it's Sussex. And IUT ahead then of UCLM, with Sussex waiting in the wings, just closing the pair of them in.
I'm loving this.
Are 2 seconds ahead and can ill afford to make any mistakes with a team as precise as NCME really are. And facing the wrong way is IUT. That's gone completely the wrong way for IUT, and that puts them down into 21st. That's put them down into 21st. Exeter's B team going through on them to add insult to injury, and that's puts IUT down into 23rd as Kingston go through as well. a real disaster there for IUT. Southampton leading, NCME in second, the sun rising over a virtual Sepang. Here, meanwhile, you're on board with NCME.
This is
Jess.
beautiful, Giles. I love it, the views of the clouds as well. This is going to be, I think, tricky, for the drivers, because, again, the visibility has changed once more.
It really has. And I just want to know your thoughts then, because I'm really, really interested to see why NCME have chosen to swap onto the medium rather than the hard that they ran in the last race, because it worked near enough perfectly for them were it not for those last moment lockups through the hairpin at the last lap, which lost them the race and put them into second. But equally, second place is nothing to sniff at. Why make the risk when you've seen what can work previously?
Yeah, I think sometimes MCME, don't forget, lost the race, so they've got to try and go for something different. But sometimes you got to maybe stick with what you know, because to be fair, they were so close to winning. If it wasn't for Leicester going for the move, they would have done it anyway. So yeah, I agree. But with any team, they always got to debrief, haven't they, and try and think of something different on how they're gonna do. So we'll find out very soon, as we've had a lock-up from Leicester. So their woes are continuing once more from a virtual Sepang, which is not based in Spain, is based in Malaysia. I'm gonna keep saying that to the cows gone home. I'm not gonna let this go, unfortunately, Giles.
I have noticed, Jess.
Carry on.
Meanwhile, then we've got I sound like Arkwright in Open All Hours, for goodness sake. Can someone get me a look on the rear end of that car so I can work out how to save? Oh, hang on, York's alumni going a bit squiffy there. Was that your nose? Sorry, that's Oaks. That is Oakland's College there. They've got a little bit squiffy, but fair play to them. I still can't get over the age of this team. Right, that's Balamand. I can never work out how to pronounce it. Balamand University. They are there in 13th position, under pressure from Oakland. Meanwhile, here's Hull's alumni team. The gap, meanwhile, between Southampton and NCME, it feels like Southampton have heard what I've said and they've put their foot down and really opened up a gap. It's 4 seconds now between Southampton and NCME. They need to be building up a buffer, do Southampton, because we know when it comes to pit stops, NCME are absolute masters. NCME, in fact, only 0.8 seconds, 0.7 seconds ahead of Vigo, who flashed their lights into the rearview mirrors of NCME. Really, really interested to see how this pans out with them on their new strategy with the mediums. Vigo in third then. Queen Mary waiting in the wings in fourth. We'll be hoping to capitalise. I know McScottish was hoping that someone could nerf Daniel Solent. I'm not entirely sure how sporting that is, McScottish, but I do understand the frustration, because how can one driver be that good from the back to like the top 10 in less than a lap? It's huge. Meanwhile, NCME just beginning to feel the pressure, just beginning to build a sweat up with Vigo right behind them now. And for a team
we saw that with Southampton last time out, didn't we? They had the same problem.
Absolutely. So the Malaysian flag is actually just a representation of the rear left tyre after each stint, says McScottish.
Yes!
Daniel Letard explaining that mediums and hards have very, very different strategies, as we've been discussing. He says, I think it's 2 stops for hards versus 3 stops for medium and hards. So if you switch between the two, you've got a 3 stop. If you stick on just the hards, you've got a 2 stop. Thanks to Daniel for the insight there. So NCME switching on to a 3-stop strategy. Will it pay off for them is the question. Meanwhile, Vigo here really challenging NCME to put their foot down and potentially spend their tyres a little more. We know the medium goes away quicker, and NCME will be thinking, well, no, I don't want to spend my tyres earlier. I've got a 3-stop, and I know exactly when I want to pit, and it's not now. But with the pressure they're being put under from Vigo, those tyres are going to burn away, and they might have to adjust their strategy accordingly, because Vigo really are politely, mind you, but with a bit of force, putting the pressure on the second place team, and that is allowing Southampton to pull away with it. The gap now up to nearly 5 seconds as NCME have to put all of their attention onto their rear view mirrors rather than the track ahead, and Vigo trying maybe to sneak it down the inside there. Not quite close enough, but it's worth a shot, and it just lets NCME know that they are right there with them as they approach the final hairpin now, into 5th, into 6th. Queen Mary in the background there. Not anything to contend with now. Vigo, though, contending with NCME as they go through on the inside of the hairpin. And there's no bite back. There's no
Beautiful.
nothing from NCME. They've got nothing to say until now as they try and get the switch back onto the start-finish straight. The two drivers side by side into turn one. Now note that Vigo has got the inside line into turn one, but do remember it switches 180 degrees into turns 2 and 3. So NCME are definitely not out here just yet. It depends on who breaks later, and that does look to me to be Vigo breaking later. NCME trying to get the switch back here, but Vigo showing an absolute masterclass in defensive driving. Elegantly done, positioning their car so well. It's like almost ballet on tarmac, and that is Vigo well and truly, or at least I thought so, but here comes NCME now into turn 4. Can they get through here? I'm not 100% convinced though. They are right there side by side. It's going to have to be the switchback
And
if they
they've
can,
got
but it's
that.
not. And they get closed down and pushed onto the grass just ever so slightly, and Vigo well and truly into second place, and NCME have now got to consider whether they want to duke it out for a second place or whether they want to defend for third, because here comes Queen Mary.
Yeah, it seems to me that MCME might not be managing their tyres effectively, but Queen Mary, what you want about, has had experience from the last race, and they know how the strategy is going to work here, and they're managing their tyres quite well to effect. They're going to try and go side by side here, but no, Queen Mary backs off a little bit from MCME Racing. Looks it's going to be close on who's going to get the overall points haul this evening. It would be Queen Mary if they didn't have like a percentage points deduction based on their one driver entries, I think. But there's plenty of other drivers that could, and plenty of other teams potentially that could be top spot as well. Vigo surprised me, Giles, because they've learned from their mistakes last race and they're up in this fight for second place. Yes, they're 7 seconds behind Southampton. You can tell Southampton has been back to the drawing board, haven't they, with their strategy, because they were nowhere towards the first half of the race. And now look at them, 7.1 seconds, they're leading this race. That's the beauty of having 2 races in one night.
Well, it's what they had to do. They knew they had to do this because they knew that NCME were going to be a force to be reckoned with. But I'm not 100% sure whether this change in strategy for NCME is going to pan out for them. Meanwhile, here comes University of Glasgow having to contend with Hull's alumni, blocking for dear life into the final corner of this lap, diving to the inside. Our Hull's alumni, they're side by side with them. They're a nose ahead, our Hull's alumni, and that's Hull alumni up into 9th place. Can they get the switch back? Can Glasgow? They're back level with them, but Hull's alumni are still ahead. And if they've got to put their foot down and brake late, they will have this position. They shoot off like a rocket. Glasgow chasing, panting to stay up with them, and they are just about there with them. But I've got a funny feeling this is going to be Hull's position. They close in, they lock in, and Glasgow sweep to the inside, and here comes Glasgow, and Glasgow are back up into 9th momentarily, side by side through turn 1 into turn 2, trying to force them out, trying to close Hull out. Are Glasgow are nose ahead, having taken back the position, and they do stay there. Glasgow back into 9th.
Yeah, Glasgow doing a great job. And we got Leicester pitting. They had to do something different. They know they were a little bit further behind, and we know the undercut's powerful. So with Leicester, they're coming in. Familiar doing the exact same. They're coming in as well. We've got Queen Mary. MCME has made a mistake, and Queen Mary's capitalising on it. And look at De Montfort. De Montfort's in there as well. And Vigo, actually no, it's Vigo that is in this fight. Never mind. 3 wide. Vigo's chance of P2 may be sort of ruined here. But Queen Mary looks like he's going to get second from last to second place. What a move from Dan.
Absolutely
Oh my
genius
God.
from Mr. Solent there. Absolutely impeccable. And that leaves Vigo just absolutely lacking behind there. Mouths agape at what they've just witnessed there. NCME down into 3rd, Vigo into 4th, Queen Mary up into 2nd place. 10.5 seconds between Southampton and the 2nd place car. That's the buffer they're going to need if they want to take victory here. Queen Mary clearly knowing something's up because they are right within reach of the championship. If they can just hold off Southampton, who are only 5 points behind them. Southampton is smelling blood here, and here goes Vigo into the pits then, the first of the front runners into the pit lane, and it is Vigo, the Spaniards, who head for either new tyres, new fuel, or both. We'll see. We'll find out. What are they going to switch on to is the question. Both the front 3 are all running on medium, so you can expect them into the pits anytime soon. As you can just see there, Queen Mary locking up, tyre smoke emerging from the brake discs there. Meanwhile, Vigo in the pits, plenty coming through on them, but do remember that Vigo will be able to take back a lot of these positions as the rest of the drivers are forced to pit because the tyres will go away. A lot of them, though, on hards. Vigo running that slightly more aggressive medium strategy. They've just got to make sure that they can capitalize on it. Plenty of comments coming in. Thank you very much. Apparently, I'm showing my age tonight with my pop culture references, but you know, that's what I do. Mr. Blobby open all hours and Downton Abbey. Yes. Meanwhile, Mr. Chapman may have spun out. Look, Scottish cannot confirm or deny that Mr. Chapman spun out.
We got a lock up from the number 3.
Oh, no.
Synchronized spinning from De Montfort and
York. York's 18.
Yeah, York 18. Or as Monty likes to call them, York.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
I'm in that mood tonight, okay?
Not you, then. Glasgow's gone. Glasgow's really gone.
Oh, no.
From bad to worse from De Montfort.
Oh, well, they're doing so well as well. Oh.
Look, David, just, oh, man. I really feel for De Montfort. I'm not convinced that was their fault at any point. Just a real bad run of luck, and that puts DMU back down into 8th. Meanwhile, here's Vigo. They are currently in 11th, but they are the first of the front runners to pit. So as those other drivers ahead of them have to change to fresh rubber, they will be hoping to capitalize. It's a question of how much can they capitalize, or were they in prematurely? We know they like to come in early on these tyres and in this race. Meanwhile, here's Southampton. They are staying out for another lap. Are your front runners with 11.1 seconds between themselves and Queen Mary. Queen Mary only 0.9 seconds between themselves and NCME. As NCME dive into the pits, they are into the pits are NCME. They started in pole. They lost out quite dramatically. Not quite as dramatically as Leicester, though. Where have Leicester gone out of interest? They're down in 17th for a team. That NCME started in 2nd, but Leicester, it's not gone very well. Okay, keep your eye then on the screens then. Who's going to come through in on NCME? Jess, talk us through it.
Wow, I'm just trying to look at my screen right now, but there's some drivers that may not have been in the pit sure that they would have liked. So we'll keep an eye on the ones that have pitted recently, including Queen Mary. As let's see, it's gonna be tight. They're coming out of the pits now. We're seeing side-by-side action in front of MTME Racing, and no more energy drinks for me. Shut up, Jojo Scott. Joking. I don't have energy drinks. I just thrive on being hyper naturally. I don't have energy drinks.
I was going to say, I'm not convinced the world could cope with Jess on an energy drink. It might create the singularity.
I don't like energy drinks anyway. But your answer to the question is Queen Mary ahead of MCME. Yes, but they haven't pitted yet. But it said that they did, which is weird.
Interesting. Plenty of drivers in the pits. Glasgow, Sussex, York, USM, Strathclyde, of course, Aberdeen, and Exeter's B team all in the pits. Vigo lapping currently in 4th, making those positions that we knew they would because the other drivers have yet to pit. Exeter A team yet to pit. Munster yet to pit. Queen Mary yet to pit. Southampton yet to pit. NCME have pitted. They're down in 7th. They'll be hoping to do the same as Vigo, but on fresher rubber. It's a really interesting race for pit strategy tonight. Not to mention the wheel-to-wheel stuff has been absolutely excellent as well. As Vigo continue on lapping. Here's Monty.
Hello, just interjecting here. So Vigo have made 5 seconds on NCME in those pit stops. So something must have happened to NCME compared to Vigo. Because,
they were a bit long. They were a bit longer than we thought. I was questioning on they were there for a bit longer. So I wasn't the only one imagining things, Monty.
Yep, no, so they must have taken on some fuel or something, but yes, as you can see, Vigo are now 5 seconds ahead of NCME, 6 seconds now, beg your pardon, ahead of NCME, even though when Vigo pitted in, they were in at the same time. Meanwhile, Queen Mary, I see, are now in the pits.
Queen Mary are in the pits, and not to mention, of course, Southampton are opening up that gap, but I've got a funny feeling that Southampton will pit on the next lap.
Will they try at one stop?
I don't know. I shouldn't think so, Jess. But my thought process is if Queen Mary are on fresher rubber, they can really close up that gap, and they're going to come out right behind Southampton. And Southampton will take a little while to get those tyres warmed up. And I think Queen Mary could capitalise on this. But Vigo have gone through, as we thought they might do. And NCME are right there with Queen Mary. Queen Mary coming out of the pit lane just ahead of NCME. And Queen Mary are going to have to make sure they get those tyres up to temperature very, very quickly in order to avoid an NCME on the charge. But the gap is already opening up. Note then that NCME are on the hard, but Queen Mary are on the medium. So this is going to be quite interesting. Can Queen Mary go the full distance on this hard? I don't think they can. I think they're going to have to do
I don't think so.
It'll have to be another pit stop with 10 minutes to go, I would have thought. Jess de Montfort in the pits.
Slash and
As
dash.
are Exeter's A team. They're coming right out again. Southampton then 32 seconds ahead of Vigo. That now would be the time to pit if I were Southampton. 37 minutes, on the board. And you can see there de Montfort closing in on the back end of Glasgow. Yet Leicester ahead of them. They've worked their way back up to 9th, having started on pole, but it's hardly the result that Leicester will have wanted. Here
No,
then
it doesn't
comes
look like
de
it.
Montfort. Are de Montfort close enough to make a move on Glasgow? Not just yet. Can we get a look at Southampton? I'd be interested to see whether they choose to pit.
They
So
went
stay with
long
Southampton. Yes,
last
they
time,
are.
and
Here they go.
they came in roughly about this time last time, as far as I remember, with 35 minutes to go.
Indeed, they did, and they are in again. Southampton in the pits. Vigo 30 seconds behind them. Have they got time to get back out in the lead? And what tyres are they going to come out on? We're going to flash to the map. Let's keep an eye then on where Vigo's car is relative to Southampton in the pit lane. Keep an eye on this then, because it could be crucial to the overall race result. Were Vigo right to go early? Were Southampton right to go late? And who can take the best advantage of it? Keep your eyes on the screen. Southampton already on the approach to the pit exit. It was an incredibly slick stop from the team from the coast. And through they come then. Out on, and that is Vigo into the lead. Vigo take the lead from Southampton. And Southampton are down into second, but they will have fresher rubber. So they will be able to try and get back on them. Queen Mary waiting in the wings there. Not 3 seconds between themselves and Southampton. Southampton then 1.5 seconds from the back of Vigo. Daniel Letard questioning the racecraft of some of the drivers on track. As Southampton just begin to lose. Vigo, it was 1.5, it's now 1.7.
We saw that in the
opening
last
the gap
race.
up.
We saw
That
that in the
surprised me,
last
though.
week with Leicester, but they clawed back at the end. So it's not over for Southampton.
No, but
There's
Southampton should be closing in, I would have thought. They're on fresher rubber.
There's definitely different tactics going on here. I mean, Vigo came into the pits 10 seconds behind Southampton, so for them to make up 11 seconds, I think Vigo committing to a 3-pit stopper. They fueled less, fresh tyres, lighter car, very quick laps. To be able to claw back that difference, they must be running fundamentally a different strategy to the rest. I reckon everyone else is on a 2-stop and Vigo trying their 3-stop again. That's my theory.
I'm not sure whether Southampton are on a 2-stop or a 3-stop. I'm not sure whether they know. It feels to me like a level of uncertainty.
It's hard to tell.
I don't like Vigo are clearly very confident in their strategy and they're committing to it. I just don't feel that confidence coming through from the driving and the strategy here from Southampton. But that could just be me and my complete inability to call anything. Meanwhile, here's Queen Mary in 3rd place. They're 2 seconds behind Southampton. You can see the front runners at the top of your screen there. Leading is Vigo with Southampton behind them. 1.2 seconds the gap has dropped to now. Meanwhile, here's Bizkaya locking up there and inviting York to make a move. York closing in on them. Leicester behind them there in 9th. And through, meanwhile, goes Hull's alumni team. They're in 6th. A very good result for the alumni from Hull. Or Hull, as I should say. As Leicester bring it in then on to York. How close can they get to the front, Leicester, with 34 minutes to go? I'm not sure, if I'm being completely honest. I hate to say that because we do like Leicester here in the commentary box. I love their design of their actual Formula student car. I just love the simplicity of it, and it just works when it turns up. And also the 2-year design cycle. I'm a big fan of that as well. But this race has not worked out for them, given that they started on pole. Meanwhile, UCLM under pressure from Aberdeen. Chapman behind the wheel then. What can Chapman do? Hopefully not go off a second time, fingers crossed for everybody from Scotland watching this. Very, very close to the rear end of UCLM then. Tucking in to get the slipstream. Keeping it very, very close indeed. And now diving to the outside. Do Aberdeen on UCLM, and they're very through into the hairpin they go. Aberdeen on the inside. Oh, that's nicely done there from Chapman, but the UCLM are right there with them, and Chapman's really got to put his foot down if he wants to close them off. UCLM sticking with it, keeping the door open to maintain their position. Aberdeen and UCLM side by side, and in they go into turn 1. And UCLM have brought the place back. But can Aberdeen get the switch back? I don't think they're ahead. They're not ahead enough to do so. And UCLM, a masterclass in defense, but they are really, really level pegged here, these two drivers.
They are. They definitely, they got their even pace, it looks like, as well, which shows that the level of respect they got in racing if they could just give so much room. And it's so tight in certain corners as well. But I'm looking at the gap between Vigo and Southampton. It's closing. Southampton know what they've got in them. They got the potential tyre offset. Could we see the point where Vigo could be potentially struggling? We'll find out very soon. Shout out to Oakland, by the way. Yes, they're running an 18th, but they're still going to get a good haul of points. They're fighting against top universities, and they're doing a sensational job, and they're keeping out of trouble mostly. Yes, they've had a few spins, but they've got plenty of years in them to just offer students to learn and grow. As we got Aberdeen, it's went too deep.
Aberdeen back ahead of UCLM, nearly lost it there with a lockup. I know Jojo Scott will be on the edge of her seat. She said to you, Jess, don't change. We couldn't change Jess if we tried. We wouldn't want to. Meanwhile, Bizkaya then side by side with York's A-team. This is going to be very, very interesting. Bizkaya are going to have to try and defend into the hairpin on the wide line. I don't think they're going to be able to. They've just about held on to it there. A nose ahead of York. We know how aggressive York can be. They closed them down, and York trying to find a way through. York think better of it and decide on getting the slipstream. Stick right there with them under the rear wing, and then they go through on the inside. And that's York choosing the inside line on Bizkaya, locking up, and that's going to let Bizkaya maintain position. Surely, yes, it does. But York is still there, and they touch, and they are side by side, and the body paint has been swapped between Bizkaya and York. Bizkaya holding on to 7th place, but York still right there with them.
Yep, Bizkaya. They're doing a great job, to be fair. Consistent. They're going to score some decent places out of this and decent points. And don't forget, this is their first season in the sim racing, and they score some really decent results. I think we've seen that with plenty of other teams that are learning. They're finding their feet in the first season. Just watch what's going to happen next season with all their experience behind them. They could learn quite a lot, coach maybe the first years potentially. It's a great oil machine, and I can't wait to see what they've got with their real-life car in Silverstone, because they could be the ones to watch. Sorry?
I've got to interrupt you. I'm just keeping an eye on the timing board, and I've got a funny feeling the gap between Southampton and Vigo is dropping. I think it keeps fluctuating between 1.1 and 1.3 seconds, and I've just got a funny feeling Southampton might be about to reel them in just a little bit.
Yeah, Vigo's heard us. They're putting the hammer down now.
Southampton have no choice but to put the hammer down, because they have got Queen Mary right behind them. In fact, Southampton have just put in the fastest lap. Southampton feeling the pressure from Queen Mary, and as a result, reeling in Vigo. But the gap is reopened now to 1.5 seconds as Southampton look to their rearview mirror and decide defense is better than attack, because they're going to want to hold on to this position. They are going to get the points ahead of Queen Mary. Queen Mary will have a percentage reduction applied to them because of the one driver entry. So Southampton will want to finish as far ahead of them as possible in order to maximize that gap to try and overtake them in the championship standings. Remember, only 5 points separating Queen Mary and Southampton. And Queen Mary will be well aware of this as well, and will want to get ahead of Southampton to minimize the damage from the percentage reduction. Here comes then Queen Mary on Southampton, reeling in your second place in the championship, second place in the race, as well as your front runners Vigo have to contend with back markers ahead, and that will allow both Queen Mary and Southampton to close in. Queen Mary trying to find the ideal moment to make a move, slotting into the back there as they head into the final corner. Looking to the outside. Can they go through here? He's on board with Southampton. Queen Mary looking to the inside of the hairpin. They aren't close enough to make a move. I was wrong. I've got my geography wrong. We're in the completely wrong part of the track for that. But regardless, 0.3 seconds is closing in. It's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. And there's a big crash in IUT. IUT are a casualty there, and that allows Queen Mary to go through. IUT, one of the back markers, making contact with Southampton. That span IUT out of the race, and Southampton had to concede the position to Queen Mary in the aftermath of that. I'm not convinced anybody's going to shed any tears over it, because IUT are actually running in 25th. So I imagine Southampton, more than anything, will be rather irritated than guilty over that. Yes, I think they're going to... Well, there are words I could say, but unfortunately they're rather Anglo-Saxon. Looking up there are Queen Mary, but they're ahead of Southampton, and Southampton will be cursing IUT there. Meanwhile, both Queen Mary and Southampton going through on Vigo, but I can't see where Vigos are in the pit. That had to be where they were, and Vigo have pitted for the second time in this race, as they have to with their aggressive 3-point strategy. Queen Mary then leading the race, locking up ever so slightly though. In fact, more than ever so slightly. There's a fair bit of tyre smoke coming off of that. Have they been a little too aggressive in order to get to the front? And is this going to cause them problems? Southampton will be hoping so as they try to close in. NCME going through on Vigo now.
Well, if they're too aggressive, they're going to lose. They're going to gain tyre wear, which means they're going to lose so much time in these next few laps, and that's going to allow Vigo to close it in. Or are they going to do the same as what Leicester did and try the aggressive strategy, pit later than Vigo, and try and close in and win the race? But you can't guarantee what happened in race 1 could happen in race 2, because of course for most of the drivers they haven't raced in race 1, so they don't know what they could be doing. But it's not going to be that long before they pit, and if they were to do the 2-stop, they would pit ideally with 7 minutes in 7 minutes time, so about 20 minutes to go potentially, and we'll keep an eye of course on the pit stop. So Leicester's in at the pit lane, so they're doing their second stop now. It'll be interesting to see what tyres they go on, but we won't know until they come out of the pit lane what could it be for Leicester. But a brilliant job for them in the first race, I could tell you that. So we'll find out how that fares towards the end of this one. York A. Sorry, Giles.
I just wanted to challenge something that McScottish has been saying here. Can't believe the leaders are bullying IUT. With all due respect to IUT, I can understand the frustration when you're trying to lap as fast as possible and it's going to make a difference in terms of your position and you come upon a slower car. I mean, when you're in the red heat of racing, the words "get out of the chuffing way" come to mind. And I can imagine that's the thought process that was going through the minds of both Queen Mary and Southampton when they were contending with IUT as a back marker there. So I can understand where they were coming from, with all due respect to IUT, who have actually got up ahead of Hertfordshire's B team now and are no longer in last place. They're up into 24th. Meanwhile, Queen Mary then opening the gap up on Southampton to 1.3 seconds, as here comes NCME potentially on the back end of Southampton. No, is it? Is that, or is that a back marker there? No, it can't be. That's NCME right there. The gap.
Yeah, there's There's 3 teams that are running.
Yeah, it's a 16-second gap between NCME and Southampton. It's another lapped car, and it's another lap car that is looking bright yellow, so it's more difficult to tell than I'd like. NCME then 16 seconds to close in the front runners, but remember they're on that slightly more conservative strategy. You can see them running hard there. I suspect Southampton and Queen Mary will have to pit beforehand, and that's when NCME will be hoping to capitalize and draw them back in before a quick splash and dash onto the mediums themselves. We know they're going to have to pit a second time unless they're being very bold and brave and getting in the quick laps on the medium and then putting the hards on and hoping the hards last until the end of the race. I don't think it's going to work. I think NCME have got to pit. The question is when.
I don't know. I really don't know. I think they're going to probably do a splash and dash. I did just see someone come into the pit lane, and that was a pink car, or I might have been wrong, or I might just be imagining things. Yeah, I wasn't imagining things. UCLM have gone into the pit lane, so we're almost at the final phase of this race. We don't know who's going to win this one. Could this be a photo finish like we saw in the last race? I don't know, and we don't know which strategy could be right. Of course, they've done a lot of practice going into this to find out what is the right strategy. Southampton, the gap, it's there's one point where it's increasing and then it's decreasing. It's just like the gap is relatively stable between, fluctuating between Queen Mary and Southampton. You could probably, we're definitely seeing why there are the top 2 in the championship right now, like they were last season.
Meanwhile, I just wanted to highlight a comment that we've just received from McScottish. If anyone from UCLM sees this, Gonzalez has an Amazon delivery. Can someone tell him he needs to stop to go and get it? Excellent stuff.
Please don't.
No, well, exactly. Absolutely. Meanwhile, then, we've got UCLM trying to close in on... Well, who's that ahead of them? Because that's not Oakland's in blue. Oakland's don't run in blue. I know that for a fact.
It's the UCLM are lapped, so it was Southampton.
I see. There we are then. Southampton trying to make their way through the back traffic. Queen Mary, 1.1 seconds, 1.2 seconds near enough between the pair of them. 19-second gap now between NCME and Southampton.
How you move
That's
out of the
actually
way.
opened up. Yeah, that's very well done. But then again, I can't help but feel like it feels like Winged Fury, like Flight of the Valkyries will be playing in your head when the black and purple of Vigo appears in your rearview mirror. Exactly. It just feels intimidating. You know what I mean? Like, I just wouldn't want to be in the way as IUT. Do just that and get out of the way very quickly.
To be fair, that used to be me. That used to be me in races where every time I always think when I'm going to get lapped rather than if. So you always got to think when to move out the way.
Plenty of comments coming in. Do please keep them coming in. Where are you watching from? Meanwhile, Solon says, Yaz27 says Solon might just be better than 2018 LeBron. Or do they mean LeBron James?
Yeah, I thought it could be LeBron James as well, but I don't know.
Your sporting metaphors go over our heads unless it involves four wheels. Anyway.
Oh, Southampton or Queen Mary.
Exactly. 0.1 seconds between the two of them. Southampton have reeled them in finally. And can Solon really do the full LeBron and defend against a charging Southampton? They've got the inside line on the hairpin, the final corner of this lap. They stay ahead. They hold them off. And they're now onto the start-finish straight. Who is going to get the perfect line into the first corner, which sets them up for the three-corner chicane that opens this lap. And through then goes Queen Mary, holding on very nicely, I must say, to this position, locking up ever so slightly, but giving Southampton nowhere to go. The line is completely impenetrable for Southampton, and that is Queen Mary holding on to the lead of this race with a 0.287 second gap. In fact, that's opened up since we first started talking about this moment of drama between the two front runners. Behind them, the gap has opened to 21 seconds between Southampton and NCME. These two drivers, Southampton and Queen Mary, in an absolute league of their own. Southampton trying to find a way around, looking to the outside of Queen Mary. They can't find it there. Are they going to try for the switchback? I'm not sure, but they are holding it right on the apex of the corners, using every inch of track and making their car incredibly wide, are Queen Mary, and that's meant that Southampton have to back off just a little bit. They're trying to brake later, but it's not going to be any helpful when, of course, Queen Mary are dominating the line. There's nowhere to go unless they go offline. They're just going to lose pace there. So Southampton having to contend with sticking behind a flame-spurting Queen Mary as the gap opens up to 0.35 seconds. Looking to the outside, not trying to find a way. They just can't find a way through. There's no room there for manoeuvring. Another lap stuck in second behind Queen Mary for Southampton. Rather similar to the championship proceedings. Incredibly close, but just no way through currently. Southampton struggling here, Jess. At least having to be patient. Whether they're struggling or not might be a little bit dramatic, but certainly Vigo, meanwhile, going through
they're
on
giving it some
NCME.
action.
We knew that NCME was struggling. The gap was ever increasing between Southampton and NCME, and Vigo have capitalised on it.
I think Vigo's just playing, just having a good race still so far. There's show some levels of, I think, there's some races where they performed not so great, and then there's some races where they performed really well. And this is a race where they performed well.
Monty, I can hear you, though.
Sure with that one, Jess. If Vigo on a 3-pit stop, then actually they're risking not even finishing 5th at the moment, because if they've still got one more pit stop to do, I was hoping they'd be much further up the road.
That is a good point, Monty, because they're on mediums. Yeah.
Exactly. So they're probably going to be another 30 seconds down the road once they make their final pit stop, which I anticipate in the next few laps. Having said that, but NTME have also just come into the pits for their second pit stop. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see where them and Vigo finish this race.
We knew they had to pit at some point, NCME. The question was always a case of when. In for their second stop, and they've chosen now, and I can see the logic behind that. It's a case then of having to reel in everybody else. Now, bear in mind, every driver ahead of them has really yet to pit. That's Vigo, that's Southampton, and that's Queen Mary, all of whom are on the medium tyre. So this could pay off in NCME. They just need to make sure that those tyres last to the checkered flag. They didn't quite last time out, hence the lock-up into the final hairpin and the loss of position to Leicester. Leicester nowhere to be seen in this instance. They're down in 12th. Hull's alumni in 7th place, now in the pits alongside York's A and De Montfort, who have just dropped by into the pit lane. Meanwhile, here's Southampton steadily chugging behind Queen Mary. They've backed off and the gap is now 0.4 seconds.
The gap is coming down, but the question is, when will Southampton go for the move? Queen Mary's going on the defensive, it looks like. Queen Mary does not want Southampton to have any sniff, because if Southampton is close enough, Southampton can steal points for Queen Mary. It's going to be a dogfight between those two.
I'm not convinced they're going to keep this clean. It's all on the line here. You're watching the battle for the championship right now. As through the hairpin, the two front runners going into the pit. They both pit at the same time. This is monumental stuff. Really excellent here from both Queen Mary and Southampton as they both enter the pit lane.
A jag run to the pits. That would have been lovely.
NCME then will have to try and capitalize on this. 55 seconds down on the front runners. And that Vigo will be your race leaders very shortly.
That was a
18
quick
behind
pit
the
stop.
leaders.
Oh, no.
They haven't stopped yet, Jess.
Yeah, they haven't stopped. I thought they stopped at a box and did it, but I must have been imagining things. Meanwhile, Vigo is now ahead, but again, they will still have to stop one more time, it looks like, according to our strategist of Monty.
Southampton back out, but the question is, where's NCME in all of this? Still 35 seconds behind Vigo. And not much further behind. Not much further behind Southampton and Queen Mary. NCME then. I'm not sure. Is that the last stop that we're going to see from Southampton and Queen Mary? Both bunched up. Southampton seemed to slow down and kind of brake check almost Queen Mary there.
We've seen different strategies.
Yep, I would say this is the final pit stop from Queen Mary and Southampton. That is their second and presumably final stop with only 15 minutes left. Crucially, Southampton jumped Queen Mary at the pit stop. So this, I believe, is the overall battle for the leads, because Vigo should be having to make another pit stop in the next 3 to 4 minutes.
Vigo will have to, and I don't think that NCME can catch up. They're too far behind, even on the medium tyre. They'd have to absolutely barbecue those tyres in order to make up enough ground in the next 16 seconds. In fact, they need to be averaging about 2 seconds a lap, 2 seconds a minute, sorry. According to my calculations, with the gap as it stands now with 16 minutes to go, they'd have to be averaging a 2-second gain every minute of time that we've got on the clock left. As Southampton go down the inside and try and defend against a charging Queen Mary, who come through here on the inside there, and they are ahead in an absolutely gorgeous manner. So elegant there from Queen Mary, who closed down Southampton and put themselves back up into almost the lead. Well, it will be the lead once Vigo come in, and they're going to have to at some point. So this is the battle to watch here between Queen Mary and Southampton.
Watch this space. This could be the championship decider, pretty much. Joking, because we've got one more round at Williams Sim Racing, which you could catch on. I'm trying to remember the date at the top of my head because I'm absolutely rubbish with dates. July 14th is the finals at Williams Sim Racing, and of course me and Giles will be commentating that one with Monty, your eyes and ears in the pit lane. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be there. We hope you're going to be online watching, and we hope all these teams will be at Williams. No excuses. We've had people travel as far as Spain and Aberdeen last season, so if these drivers can make the trip, so could the other universities. Just saying. Just saying.
I don't disagree with the word you've just said there, Jess. I really can't. 11 seconds between Queen Mary and Vigo. It won't be enough. The pit window is too long for that to make any sort of difference. NCME have just posted a fastest lap. They really are on the charge here. But it's a 24-second gap between themselves and Southampton. And that gap hasn't dropped in the way it should have done in the past 2 minutes. Well, unfortunately, I don't think NCME have got it in them. We're going to see a second race winner in this race, and it's going to go between Queen Mary and Southampton. Only 1 second, 0.2, I think, between those two drivers there as Vigo goes through here.
I'll also retract my statement from earlier because I did not realise that Munster still had to pit. So now with that in mind, actually, Vigo, with another pit stop to go, I reckon it's going to be a very close battle for the final podium between NCME and Vigo.
Oh, watch this space. Watch this space. Grab your popcorn. Who's going to win this race? Who's going to get onto the podium? And we know with Queen Mary and Southampton, they're fighting for every result they can get. Meanwhile, Aberdeen is fighting with Exeter's A-Team. Exeter's A-Team cuts to the inside in towards the start-finish straight. Lovely battle from the team on the far end of the country in Scotland, and the team at the other end in Exeter, not quite at the further end of the country because that's Cornwall, but still, beside my point, Aberdeen passes Exeter up into 12th place, but Exeter's not going to see this line down.
Indeed, Aberdeen managing to just stay ahead. Chapman behind the wheel for them, but the team from the southwest of England really are reeling them in. And it's going to be a question of Scotland versus England here. One would hope that it's a different result to the rugby. Dear oh dear.
Shut up, Giles. Well, to be fair, my dad supports Wales in the rugby, mainly because he's a quarter Welsh. So that's why I'm an eighth Welsh.
So NCME then. How far behind the leaders are they at the moment? We're just waiting for that lap time to fade. 26 seconds. It has dropped between them and the leaders. So that's only 5 seconds between NCME and Vigo. And this is going to be really quite interesting now. Who and where are this is exciting stuff. I just don't think NCME have got it in them. I don't think NCME have got it in them to catch up. 20 seconds between Vigo and Southampton. So as I was saying earlier, Queen Mary versus Southampton is the battle to watch. But I do wonder whether perhaps NCME, with their foot down, might be able to reel in Vigo. Meanwhile, Exeter have finally got through on Aberdeen. Can they make it stick is the question. I believe they can. That gap is 1.6 seconds, nearly 2 seconds between Exeter and Aberdeen. So rather excellent stuff there. York, meanwhile, trying to get through on the Spaniards of UCLM. Definitely haven't been calling them Italians for years. Definitely shouldn't buy an Atlas. York's alumni then trying to get UCLM out of the way, but UCLM having none of it, maintaining position and streaking away. The gap opening up then. We're talking of gaps opening. The gap between Queen Mary and Southampton has opened up to 1.97 seconds. Down the hairpin goes the alumni of York, but not close enough to make a move on UCLM.
We got 10 minutes, almost 10 minutes to go, and still anything can happen, and potential final pit stop from some of our teams. But with Queen Mary and Southampton, that's it for them for the rest of the night. But can MCME catch up to Vigo? It's going to be a tall order, I think, but with the tyre offset, anything can happen. As I was trying to see Queen Mary's last lap time there, but it's quite close between the pair of them. But it's a nice sunny day in Sepang in Malaysia, as we got Glasgow's A team trying to fight for the top 10. It's going to be a tall order, but anything can happen there. Strathclyde A team, they're down in 17th, not the race they would have wanted. De Montfort, not the race they would have wanted. They were down in the top 5 earlier, but now they've dropped down to 10th, and they're not happy with that. But they still got plenty of positions to gain, maybe between them and York A. It's far from over there.
Most interestingly, Milk Scottish has commented, and I'm absolutely staggered by this comment. I never saw it coming at all. Do you know what McScottish has commented? Scotland forever! In capital letters, hence why I shouted it. McScottish, if you're still there, just let us know. If you combine the Welsh flag with a kilt, could you call it a wilt? We'd like to know.
Oh my God.
Meanwhile, leading the race is Queen Mary. Southampton in second, Vigo in third, NCME in fourth, and into the pits come Leicester. They started on the front row. In fact, they started in pole position, and currently they are into the pits and losing what was 8th. York have already gone through on them. De Montfort will be hoping to do the same, as will University of Glasgow. So the question is, how quickly can Leicester get back out there, and can they reel them back in? Yes, De Montfort and Glasgow both go through. Exeter's A team could even go through, and this would put UOL outside of the top 10. Leicester, what's gone on here? What has happened in this
They've lost a chunk of time.
And here comes Exeter down the start-finish straight. Unless Exeter come in for a pit stop, we're going to see a rather interesting exchange on the pit exit. No, they haven't pitted of Exeter. Exeter will be right there with them. Leicester out ahead, and they've got enough gap to be feeling comfortable and heave a sigh of relief. Exeter not quite close enough to relegate Leicester into the top, outside of the top 10. 3.2 seconds now between Southampton and Queen Mary. Queen Mary opening up the barrier between themselves and their title rivals. Defending champions Queen Mary leading. Exeter meanwhile hunting down Leicester. And here is Aberdeen in 12th, with UCLM following through in 14th and 15th. It's York A. Oakland, USM and Kingston battling it out here.
Yeah. It's nice to see Kingston in the top server. To be fair, they're doing a great job there. In 18th, yes, that they could have been higher than that, but still, point is point with 7 minutes to go. That is a bit too deep for Kingston. That could have allowed Vermilion to try and capitalise on that, but that's not going to work out there. The gap now between Queen Mary and Southampton, Giles, has increased to 4.2 seconds. Dan is on fire right now, and the last to first challenge could become true. Touch wood.
I think it might well do, but then again, it won't stand as a race win simply because he's got that percentage deduction to apply. Unfortunately, as a one-driver entry and a consistent one-driver entry, which is rather unfortunate. Meanwhile, Vermilion here are making a go of just keeping out of it as Kingston and Strathclyde duke it out. Vermilion waiting in the wings, hoping for a positive result, to say the least. And Vermilion go back through then on Strathclyde. And Strathclyde relegated out of the hunting there. Kingston and Vermilion going through on Strathclyde, who will have to contend with, unfortunately, what that looks to me to be 18th position. Here, meanwhile, is UCLM under pressure from York's alumni. So let me rephrase. That is UCLM, yes. York's alumni coming into the pits come UCLM. York's alumni now fighting it out with... Who is that? Is that hang on? Is
that's Queen Mary? York Alumni is being lapped.
Out of the way, nicely done, no problems. The gap, meanwhile, look at how massive that gap is now. It was less than a second earlier. It's now not.
Well, it's going to be less than that with that lockup.
A little bit, but what's that? Like, yeah, 1/10 of a second there between, because of that lockup, and it's right back up there immediately. Southampton just can't catch up to Queen Mary unless they're trying to save their tyres for a last-minute lunge, but they're going to have to reel in 4.8 seconds worth of a gap in 6 minutes. I think they might want to start thinking about getting a shimmy on if I was them. UCLM and, of course, Oaksland battling it out there. And through goes NCME on Munster.
Munster Technological University is doing quite well as well in 5th place. The team from Ireland. And that we'll see if they can do something special when we go to, of course, Williams. I was going to say Silverstone, but that's after Williams, for goodness sake, Jess. You can tell it's getting late and it's almost the end of the day with 5 minutes left to go, of course. But this race seems to be a lot quieter in terms of action compared to the first one.
Yeah, just a bit. It's a whole lot calmer. And, well, between you and I, Jess, I'm quite pleased about that because that first race was absolutely mad. And 2 of those back-to-back on a Saturday evening would be, well, I think it would spend both of us. Meanwhile, here's Glasgow then. And now Glasgow are hunting down De Montfort with ahead of, in between them is one of the back markers, I think. I think that might, is that IUT there? Who is that? Car number 18. That would actually be... Who is that there? University of Hertfordshire. Hertfordshire's B team. Hertfordshire's B team separating
Monty's
Glasgow
going to be
and
not
De
happy
Montfort.
with you that you didn't get that first try.
Monty's happy with me because I'm just a nice person. It's okay.
Oh, are you really joking?
I try my best. I'm not always successful.
We do have, though, some lapped cars to contend with as, oh no, it's Exeter's B team fighting with the Turkish University for P22 at the moment, and it's hard to tell from the timing monitors. Again, the gap's increased once more to Queen Mary in Southampton, and we're up by another second. It seems to me that Queen Mary seems to be managing their tyres really, really well, but we do have Sussex fighting with UCLM, and we've got Strathclyde in as well. It's hard to tell because everyone from 13th down is a lap down, so we can't really see the gaps, unfortunately. But we are starting to go... Hertfordshire's B team disconnected.
Just gone like that. Vanished off the face of the earth. The DNF then for Hertfordshire's B team. Quite tragic then for them. Also quite tragic for IUT, as that means that they are unfortunately put down into last place, which I'm sure they were hoping not to finish in. But, well, actually, no, they were still in last place, even if Hertfordshire's B team hadn't have DNF'd. Excuse me. Meanwhile, then, 6 seconds between Southampton and Queen Mary. This is Queen Mary's late race to lose now. We're certainly out on track when the points are rounded up and the percentage differences are applied. It will all change, I must say. There you are, then. They've got to get past Exeter as B team. Do Queen Mary, shouldn't be a problem. Southampton then in second. Vigo in third. Vigo in third. NCME in fourth. Munster in fifth. Hull's Alumni in 6th, Biscaya in 7th, York in 8th, 9th is De Montfort, and 10th is Glasgow. Could someone put a penny in my meter? I'm beginning to feel the strain here, let alone these drivers. They've been lapping. I mean, look at Dan Solent, right? He's been 2 hours of racing, wheel-to-wheel racing. How's he doing it?
Magic. I don't know how he's not losing concentration, but to be fair, he does this quite a lot. He's used to it, and he's got that experience as well. And I'm interested to find out his strategy when we speak to him a little bit later on, as luckily the Exeter team moves out the way just for Queen Mary, and Queen Mary just could just bring it home, just play it safe, just manage the tyres. That they're not going to have a threat behind them, because Southampton, they got a gap. Vigo, I think they got a gap as well. So we got our top 3. We got our top 4 pretty much. It's just the action just died down a little bit. But if you want to see more action after this race, we've got some plenty of good action at Williams and in a few months' time. But the gaps come down. I think Queen Mary are just saving the tyres now, because they just don't want to have some issues at the end.
I will be honest with you, Jess. With the commanding lead that Queen Mary have assembled and having held on to their tyres, with 1 minute 20 on the clock, I would just lift and coast at this point. I wouldn't invite any drama. I wouldn't try and break any lap records. I would just ease it home and just save as much fuel as possible and let the tyres breathe.
Yeah, I think so as well, because otherwise, if you push every lap, then your tyres are going to be gone, and it's better to save a few laps, than push for the whole of the race and then end up winning it on the final lap. We got 55 seconds to go, by the way. Where's Queen Mary on the track? How many more laps have we got left of this race? I think it'll be one more to go after they cross the line. So yeah, they'll be on the final lap shortly.
I must say, it's really interesting, just generally speaking, and I appreciate this isn't the most riveting moment of conversation we've had on the commentary tonight, but how you can have 2 races on the same track with the same cars, different
and they'd
drivers,
be completely
of course.
different.
Exactly. It just completely changes the dynamic, and it just goes to show that it's just a matter of kismet almost.
And I'm getting tired, as you can tell.
Do you know who else is getting tired? York A. What an absolutely monumental lockup that
York
was.
Alumni,
Not York A.
York A.
Alumni.
York
Excuse me.
A is in 8th place.
I'm getting tired as well, but that was an absolutely huge lockup. That reminded me of the University of Wuhan during Formula Student last year, who went straight on at a right-hand corner.
I remember that university. I loved them.
Queen Mary leading then, 6.2 seconds between themselves and Southampton. An absolutely monumental drive for a driver who's been behind the wheel for the full 2 hours. He will have to suffer the indignity of a deduction of points for a consistent single driver entry, but when the driving's been this impeccable, it's a loss worth taking.
They're still going to gain quite a few points anyway, because he's only 95%.
Precisely. I do think, though, it depends on the way the engineering challenges go, but I do wonder whether perhaps Southampton might take the lead of the championship following these results with that 95%.
Yeah, they will.
We'll have to see what the results of the engineering challenges are, so do stay with us for those full results. Here through the last few corners, Queen Mary coming through. Just got to keep it on the tarmac. No funny business, please. Queen Mary, I imagine, already celebrating, and why not, with a 6.1 gap between themselves and their championship rivals. They've done all they can to maintain their championship lead. As here then, they come into that final hairpin, the checkered flag beckoning for your current championship defenders. Queen Mary, Formula Student, based in London. Dan Solon behind the wheel. Here is the final corner to go. Southampton 6.1 seconds behind. Vigo another 10 seconds behind them. And it really has been an absolute masterclass from the Londoners. Queen Mary crossed the line to take victory in the second race of the Formula Student Sim Racing Series, round 6, live at Sepang. A huge congratulations to them. Do excuse me, my voice is getting a little bit tired.
Yeah, so is mine. From last to first, Queen Mary, Monty was hoping that Queen Mary would do it, and guess what? They did it.
Jess, could you take over for a second? I need to
Yeah,
drink.
no worries. I'll go through the rest of the order. That's fine. Vigo crossed the line in third. A great pony from them. Bolton. What could it be from then? A story of two halves, really. They will fight for the win in race 1, struggled in race 2, but they're still going to get a decent amount of points from it. Munster. Oh, it's Munster. I thought it was going to be quite close between Munster, to be fair, but they win just a battle of their own, really. So clean race. Holes Alumni team, massive shout out to them. They're getting one of my teams of the night for race 2. 6th place for them. Great job from them. Of course, their whole A team is not here, but at least Holes Alumni team is here with a few more corners to go. Bizkaya will finish. I may as well go through the rest of the order now because I don't think it's going to change much. Bizkaya will finish in 7th. York A 8th, De Montfort 9th, and Leicester, they were started on pole. They can only manage 10th, and Glasgow A in 11th, and the rest of the order, well, you can see it on your screen, but race 2 was a bit quiet, but obviously race 1 was a lot of fun. Oh, Bizkaya's hit the wall.
I say Bizkaya hit the wall, went through the wall.
Yeah, went through bring on the wall.
Oh my
As on
God, there's a throwback. Good gracious, I haven't thought about that show in
I love
years.
that show. I love that show.
Oh, can we, you know the iMechie, you're looking for ways to make the evenings more entertaining. Can we set up Hole in the Wall and get Dan Jones and John Dangerfield and all the reps from the iMechie doing Hole in the Wall?
Get the committee to do the Hole in the Wall.
We can get Cheryl in a bright pink suit to host it. It'll be impeccable.
Yes. Oh, that would be amazing. Well, let me get Dan in for an interview whilst you and Monty talk.
It was quite quiet, that second race, by comparison to the first, but unfortunately, how are you supposed to follow the absolute high drama of the first? So, nonetheless, it was an interesting one, and it could have gone different ways, but the strategies worked for some and it didn't for others. I'm interested to know what NCME were trying to accomplish by changing onto the mediums initially, because I'm not convinced that they started on the mediums in the last race, and they came second in that last one, so it didn't quite work then. Also, Lester, if you could let us know what on earth happened to you, that would be great, because, I mean, I'm gutted for you, but
I'm gutted
what
as
on earth
well.
was that? What happened there?
Yeah, that was unfortunate to see what happened with Hugo Ward there. Just looked like he was struggling for pace throughout, but he managed to at least get back into the top 10 in the end, so at least he managed to get a good haul of points from there.
I should point out, when I say all of this, I'm saying this with the caveat that everybody is doing better than I could.
Yeah, same. I would have been at the back.
You say this, Jess. I can guarantee you do better. I mean, my grandmother, blindfolded, could do better than me, and she hasn't got a driving license.
Well, I could beat you, Giles, and that's it.
Well,
yeah.
You're setting a pretty low bar for yourself there. Regardless, thank you ever so much to everybody who's been in contact, enjoying that. We've had this in from Spook 6mm saying, well done, everyone. Top quality racing, better than the current F1. Enware says that was really fun. Really enjoy this format. And Daniel Letard says there were quite a few stints, quite a few incidents lower down in the earlier stints. Well, I'm sure the scrutineers, the marshals, and the stewards will be looking into all of those. I bet they're really looking forward to spending the first week of May going over all of that. So I'm sure they're rubbing their hands together at the thought. Big up to those guys that make all of this possible, because bear in mind, we just rock up, stick a microphone into our laptops and talk about it for a couple of hours. They're the ones that put the blood, sweat and tears into it, alongside Monty, of course. So big up to them. Thank you for their time and energy. Meanwhile, Dan, turn your head to the right, mate. We're just getting Dan in for an interview, and he's currently looking the wrong way. Rotate 90 degrees to the right.
Don't worry. He's not on the show yet. He's still got time to set up.
He's setting up. Bloody hell, Giles.
Set up, Giles. It's fine. Don't worry.
Rotate. Oh, he's gonna move the camera. I appreciate you can't all see this. It's like a radio show for you, but I'm used to radio. Do join me on Express Radio on the 3rd of May between 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the afternoon for the Student Radio Chart Show.
Cheeky plug.
Yeah. Thank you, Giles. Now, just reading in the chat there, I see Daniel Littard's also put a message in there for me. Also loving that Monty's got another racing video in the background. Not just any video. Thank you very much, sir.
Go on.
It's just of
Yes.
me!
Woo!
Me!
Way!
Racing at Silverstone.
I mean, if we're going to talk about shameless self-promotion.
But then, yeah, I've got to do it as well. Sorry about that.
Well, I got nothing to promote, so I'm just leaving it there. So,
Matty C says, think University of Leicester tried a big undercut and didn't work as we were battling with them. Fair play. I mean, you got to try everything and leave it all on the track, to be completely honest.
Exactly. Now, Mr. Daniel, can you hear us, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
yes.
You are now looking at the camera.
I would just like to say I am in absolute awe of you, sir. From last to 8th by the first turn, and then last to victory. That was spellbinding. We do not deserve you in this series. We do not deserve you in this series.
If anybody's watching Wayne's World, you'll know Monty's. You know where Monty's personality comes from. Anyway, more to the point. Jess, over to you.
Thank you. Well, I have to say, Monty kind of hoped that you would do a last to first challenge. You did it. Were you expecting actually a P8 after lap 1?
Yeah, honestly, like both races, like my lap ones were insane. Like I don't have any words for my performance this evening. Like the first race, I had no expectations going into it. I ended up fighting for lead kinda, which I wasn't expecting because the first race had like all of like the top drivers in for like Bolton, Leicester, Southampton, whatever. So the fact that I was able to go from first to fighting with the lead was very reassuring. Even though I came fourth in that race, it still sucked because like I was like there, but I wasn't able to quite manage it. But I knew that for the second race that they'd be using like their second or like their drivers for the second race won't be as quick. So I knew I'd have a better chance, but to win that decisively, I guess, it wasn't even like a close call. It was by like 6 seconds or something. Yeah, honestly. I don't know what to say beyond that. I mean,
yes, you're speechless. I would say. And the thing is, each race we were expecting it to be similar with you behind the wheel, but you both races were completely different. One race you were like fighting tooth and nail to the win, and race 2 you were on your own there. Did you change a bit of your strategy there compared to race 1 a little bit?
No. I mean, race 1, of course, it was like the first time doing it.
Yeah.
I wasn't quite sure like what the strategy was or like what everyone else was going to do. So it was sort of like going a bit into the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
My strategy was always the same both races though, just pushing like hell. Like even though the tyres do get shredded, I just had the mindset that if I can just make up the time early on, I can deal with the wear later. And that works for me in race 2 because by the time the wear sort of set in the last stint, I was already 5 seconds in the lead, so it didn't really matter too much. But yeah, race 1 was definitely a lot more like close quarter fighting, obviously, as you could see from the broadcast. And yeah, race 2 was a bit more spread out at the front, so I was mainly fighting with Southampton. So it was just a case of managing them essentially, like defending from them in the second stint and then re-overtaking them in the third stint. And yeah, just didn't really have to worry about much in the second race. It was just Southampton, really.
Yeah, because they're your close rivals in the championship pretty much as well. So you were looking in. Were you surprised that you pulled that gap? Were you surprised that Southampton didn't close in?
I mean, I don't know because of course, like I wasn't expecting to lead by such a margin at the end. I'll be honest. Like going into the second race, I knew coming off the first race that I could fight for the win, but yeah, I didn't know exactly how much slower or quicker their drive in the second race would be compared to the first, obviously, because they hadn't really done too many laps on the practice server that I could have used to gauge their pace. So yeah, it was kind of, I didn't quite know what to expect from Southampton's second race, but
Fair dude.
it worked out in the end, yeah.
Yeah, it worked out too brilliant results. A great last reverse victory. Obviously, we're Williams next time out. You won the championship last season. Quick fire question, yes or no? Do you think you can win the championship this season? Yes.
I mean, I think. Oh, I'll say yes. I'll say yes. Just
Yes.
like one word, but for like a more expanded answer, I'll say like, compared to last year, as it stands, we're in a much weaker position compared to Southampton. Because like last year, we had a pretty decent lead over them going into the final, which was then sort of further improved upon by the fact that we won the last engineering challenge. So the final race was actually pretty comfortable because we only had to finish like in the top 7 or something to secure.
Yeah, and you finished like third or fourth. So I think you got. You got. I think you're definitely still in the fight, but it's going to be, I think, closer compared to previous rounds. I was going to ask about your car, but again, we don't have time because we got the results coming for you. So thanks again, Dan. And I know you're going to be at I know you're going to be at Williams because you were there last season. So see you at Williams in about a few months' time, and I can't wait to see you again.
Yeah, same. Thank you. And yeah, I guess I'll see you all then.
Cheers, dude.
Woo!
Thank you.
Over to you, Giles.
Well, I think that lays down the gauntlet for Southampton, don't you? I think that's rather nice fighting talk that sets us up very nicely for the final round at Williams Esports in July. So make sure you're tuned in for that. There will be a full day's worth of sim racing, and you can catch all the live coverage right here on the iMac Formula Student YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. Also head over to the Formula Student online YouTube channel where you can subscribe and also hit the bell for notifications and see a lot of what we get up to when we're not doing the sim racing. Monty, I'm really intrigued to see where we are with the results, both for this race and the overall standings. Have we got, go.
Yeah. We've got a lot to go through here. So we'll do the results. We've also got engineering challenge number 4.
Oh, yes.
And then we can go into, yes, we've got that as well to disclose. And then we will see what the overall standings are like going.
And then I can have some food.
Round. Yes, you can then go and have some food, Jess. So, right, let's move the page over. Here we go. So, who do you guys reckon has won tonight overall?
Southampton.
Yeah, it's got to be Southampton.
You reckon Southampton? Right. Let's
I'll
have
be amazed if Queen Mary do it. Yes, I was right.
It is indeed Southampton by
quite
104
close.
points. Right? Wasn't it just? It's interesting.
As Monty does some maths in the background.
I do some maths in the background. Queen Mary should have won that. I think they scored 105 or 106 points, but 95%, that's 99.9 points for them. So that knocks them down to third. University of Southampton are our victors for tonight, with NCME Racing just 2 points behind on 102. Queen Mary on 99.9, and Vigo still there with 97 points. Wasn't that close? Leicester, fair play, topsy-turvy evening for them, but still in 5th on 93 points. De Montfort, they'll be proud with that, I reckon. 6th position, 76 points.
Still a massive gap.
Yes, true, still a massive gap, but still for them, that is still a good haul of points. So I still reckon that they'll be quite proud with that one. York in 7th on 74. Then we've got Basque Country in 8th, Biscaya, beg your pardon, on 68. Glasgow on 66. And Munster, good showing from them as well, in 10th on 61. Vermilion, I believe that is their best result to date as well, with 11th. Aberdeen, Kingston, York Alumni, Strathclyde, Castelmanca, Sussex, Exeter. Oaklands are in the top 20, so
congrats.
I love that.
Brilliant. I really, if you just to say, if you're from Oaklands or you're a parent of someone from Oaklands, can you seriously, hats off to them and give them a real pat on the back. They've done themselves so proud tonight, and they 100%. Really deserve. They
they were so proud over the last few. I was impressed with them when they were at TT Assen a couple of weeks, about a month ago. So. Yeah.
In fact, give them a cider or a beer.
No,
they're not old enough. They're 16 and 17.
Yes, Giles, they're 16. Nudge. We cannot endorse. We don't endorse 16-year-olds having drink.
That statement, Giles.
Retracted. There you go.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Very good. Anyway, right. So that's our results. Let's move on to the.
Yeah, this is what I want to see, because obviously Queen Mary should have won that, but didn't, as we've established. What could change all of this is the engineering challenges.
Yes, indeed. So they've lost 4.1 points, and I think it was about a 4-point difference between them going into this race. So they're basically 0.1 of a point difference as it stands. Engineering challenge. Right, here we go.
What was it this time,
end,
Monty?
end of the fourth challenge. The judges have decided the winner this time is Queen's University Belfast with Vigo
Hey!
second. Southampton, look at that, thirds with 50 points. Glasgow, Hertfordshire, Casablanca, Queen Mary only in seventh, so that's another 12 points they have lost to Southampton there, with Exeter 8th, Sussex 9th, and Leicester 10th. What that does for the engineering challenge, it means that Belfast now take the lead
Oh
with
my
209
god!
points. Glasgow still then second on 203, Exeter on 192, and Vigo on 184.
I
So
got a
that is-
prediction. I
Go
think
on.
I think Glasgow gonna win the engineering challenge overall.
Well, if they do, that will be a fourth year in a row for them to win it.
And they only
overall.
won
So,
one round.
Yeah, well, so far, yes, but they've never been under the top four, I believe. So they're relentlessly
Exactly.
consistent.
Yeah. That's my prediction. I think they're gonna win another engineering challenge overall. That's my prediction.
Yep, no, that's completely fair. We will have to wait and see how they do with the final challenge there. So what this means, guys, is basically all the points they have earned in their race, plus what you are seeing here as their engineering challenge totals, is what makes their current standings, which means we leave round 6 and we'll be heading into Williams with the standings looking like this provisionally.
Wow.
University of Southampton on 701 points. Queen Mary University London on 688.9. Vigo on third on 684 with NCME on 590.
Excluding
now
the drop
start-
round.
Yes, so there is still a drop round that we need to contend. You can start to see what happens when you don't submit for the engineering challenges as well. NCME have really fallen far behind now. I think, whilst now mathematically speaking, there's 4 teams going into Williams with a chance of winning this title, all eyes really should be on Southampton, Queen Mary, and Vigo.
What's the maximum points you can get? Is there another engineering challenge as well? So what's the maximum points you can get in both the Williams finals and engineering challenge?
Yeah, so there's 120 points to score from the final round in the race, plus another 60 points for the engineering challenge. So that's 180 points in theory. Now, as Jess just mentioned, we have a drop score to consider. So basically, whatever points these teams have scored throughout the year, whichever round they have scored worse than, they will reduce that, so take that off their total. So, for example, let's say Southampton have been very consistent throughout the year, and their worst point score is 80 points. Well,
That's
that
a
means
huge
for the
amount.
that is a huge amount, because that basically means 180 minus 80, they can score no more than 100 points in the final round. This is that part of the season where suddenly those who've been really consistent may suddenly have to lose more points. If any of these teams have had a bad round, then
I'm almost certain
they can
Southampton at least had one bad round.
They did, though.
Yeah,
we know this, but interestingly
Yeah.
enough, if they were to have been ridiculously consistent, because they have had it, well, they have been so consistent that they've lost points because of the drop round. It was them that campaigned for it to be introduced into the sim racing series anyway. So it has caught them unawares previously. I don't know necessarily whether it will do this time out, but what that certainly does do is ensures that it really is all to play for, certainly in the top 3.
Absolutely. And from the top of my memory, I've got a feeling Queen Mary have had a worse race than tonight. And so, in some ways, with them only scoring 95% of their haul, that could hurt them, because I think they've got to own that penalty, because I think they've had a worse round
They definitely had a worse round.
Yeah.
Shall we make our
So-
predictions then on who we think is going to win the championship?
I tell you what we'll do. We're going to keep it quiet. We're going to send each other our predictions on the WhatsApp group chat that the 3 of us have got. And
Yes.
we will keep those to ourselves, so that way we're not cursing anyone publicly. And then we'll revisit them at Williams once we know who the winner is.
That sounds like a good
We
idea.
could say if anyone got it correct.
Yes, exactly.
Indeed,
Exactly
indeed.
that.
So sorry, I was just going to say that final round, just as a reminder, guys, is the 14th of July. That will be us hosting it live from Williams Sim Racing Centre in Grove, Oxfordshire. We cannot wait to be there. They are our title partner, so a huge thank you once again to Williams for allowing the students to come back. It is such a unique opportunity for the students. And as you can see from that video during the FS News, yeah, there's a lot of geeking out to be had there. That's 14th of July, which we'll be doing that. And as a reminder to all the teams, this is an invitation to all of you. It's not just the top 10. Anyone who is part of the entry list this year, you are more than welcome to be part of this. We want to see you there in person. Last year, we had teams travelling over from Ireland and Spain. I can tell you right now that IUT, based in Bangladesh, have already got their visas sorted. So they're on their way. So no excuses for those who have an hour's drive to get there. Absolutely none. If they're making the effort, and there's a lot of issues going on in the Gulf just now, which is going to make their travel even harder, and they're still getting there, I can't wait to see the rest of you at Williams.
Wow.
I couldn't have put it better myself. If they can navigate through what's going on out there, and we'll leave that where it is, then honestly, a trip up from, I don't know where you're based, but it's hardly going to be comparable. And we will call you out for it because we're nice like that. So make sure you're tuned in. If you're not competing, but you are invested in the sim racing series, make sure you're tuned in because it will be broadcast live on YouTube. And as we've just established there, we've got some really interesting teams in contention. Southampton, Queen Mary, and Vigo, all within a shout of the championship. Queen Mary defending. Southampton have won it before, but haven't won it for several years, have come close several times. Vigo, always an incredibly exciting team here in the Sim Racing Series. It all comes down to Williams. Make sure you're there for it. It'll be more like we had tonight. An excellent night. Thank you for your company. Thank you to Jess and Monty. I'm going to say goodbye. They're going to say goodbye, and we'll catch you in July.
Bye.
Bye. And we're safe.
Cool.
Good job, everyone.
Well done, guys.
Yeah,
That's
Tina was
the hard one to do.
Race
Tina
3,
was-
race 2 was difficult.
Oh, yeah, I just could. I was struggling to get through that.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, same. Race 1, I think we put a lot of energy into race 1. My brain
It's
just
'cause
like...
it required it. That was the thing.
Yeah, it required it, and then the energy just went in race 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Indeed.
But, right, I'm going to have to go and prep the house for Tina to come back. She was a bit delayed, but she's on her way. So I shall catch you guys.
That worked out well. Then he didn't have to answer the door through that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. All right, I'm going to catch you guys in July. I love you loads.
Yeah,
All right,
see you
well done,
in
guys.
July.